San Diego, it's time to fire it up. From the beaches to the ballparks, from the Gaslamp to North County, no one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime use.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
What's up, San Diego? And happy Thursday to everybody out there in America's finest city. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each and every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Get excited for a lot of stuff to talk about today. We're excited to get the show rolling today. Lots to digest, lots to break down all over the place. We have Padres prospect conversation. We're going to look at it from a perspective of as we go about the rest of the offseason. You know, Jeff Sanders has done a good job of outlining some of the best prospects in the Padres organization per position. We're going to look at catchers today, see if there's really a fit to potentially trade Luis Campusano, as mentioned by MLB.com. To me, I don't think that's the greatest of ideas, but everybody knows about Ethan Salas. What do we know about the other catchers coming up through the pipeline? Now, we're going to talk about that in about 10:35. Later on in the show, today is our big football day as well. Even though this entire week's been a big football week, we have Skyler joining us at 12:35 to pick all the championship games that we have coming up this weekend. At 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock, Skyler will join us to pick all the conference championship games. And there are 9 of those this weekend. Pac-12 not doing a championship game. They've already played each other twice. They split 1-1. Who wins the tiebreaker on the Pac-12? Do we know? With Oregon State and Washington State splitting?
Hold on.
Do we know what the tiebreaker is?
Hold on.
I'll let Frank figure that out. We're going to talk everybody in the college basketball in town at 1:15. Eddie Brown will join us at 1:35. More stops aboard the Lane train as more information keeps getting leaked, and that story gets juicier and juicier. Recap what the local kids did here in town in terms of signing day. A lot of big names in terms of college football, in terms of big schools, grabbing kids here in San Diego. We'll talk about that at 12:15. What does San Diego State do from here in football? We'll talk about that at noon. Coming up later in the 11 o'clock hour, we'll get you the latest news and rumors from free agency, Jorge Polanco news, Tampa Bay Rays made a signing, Cody Bellinger sweepstakes is coming down to some finalists. We'll get you updated on all of that. Plus, in the 11 o'clock hour, the top 10 Boras clients and who is available, and are they a fit for the Padres? I don't know with the way the Padres' budgets are if they can go sign more Boras clients, but that's something else that we could talk about in the 11 o'clock hour. But we want to start the show with what happened last night in San Diego. San Diego State basketball. Aztecs hoops got a win yesterday over Utah Valley. Now, they didn't just suddenly look like the preseason top 25 version I think a lot of people expected to see. But they finally did something that, as Mark Ziegler pointed out in his article, eluded them for weeks. So that's they won. Finally able to get a win. You know, they were able to beat Oregon in the Players Era Festival, but the reality of the situation is San Diego State, for as good as they've been on paper going into the season, and for what they have assembled this year, been kind of struggling in terms of trying to just win games. Now, they've had a very difficult schedule to start. I think the Troy loss was very difficult to swallow for Aztec fans. I think getting blown out by Michigan. I think San Diego State played Michigan at the wrong time. I mean, Michigan was firing all cylinders at that point in time of the season. But San Diego State, 11-point victory last night over Utah Valley, who came in red hot. And after losing 3 of their last 4 and 5 of the last 7 dating back to the end of last season, San Diego State beat Utah Valley yesterday at Viejas Arena, rediscovered their defensive DNA. And they relied heavily on the depth to save them on a night when the starters struggled. Last night, got to see Tay Simmons, 6'6" freshman power forward, fighting for minutes, entering the night, and he had a good night for San Diego State. I mean, the Aztec starters did not have that great of a day if you look at the box score. Aztec starters, 7 points, 7 points, 4 points. A combined 18 points from the starters last night for San Diego State. The bench, phenomenal. They got 18 points out of B.J. Davis. Ty Simmons, the freshman, had 15 points. Farrell Compton had 12 off the bench. Sean Newman Jr. had 4. Jeremiah Odin had 7. Taj DeGorville had 3. But the bench is what really made things happen for San Diego State last night. You look at the overall team stats from their game against the Wolverines, the Utah Valley Wolverines. Bench points for San Diego State. Combined total. No, we're not going to have bench points on this box score. That's fun. I'm going to look it up in a second. But San Diego State and their bench was electric last night. As a team, they shot 45% for the field. Not bad. 33% for the three-point line. Only 79% for the free throw line. But you saw a lot of it from the bench, as mentioned before. Ty Simmons, little known 6'6" freshman power forward, as mentioned before, had a great night. His role seemed to likely shrink until he erupted for 15 points and 7 rebounds in 15 minutes, completely changing the game's energy. Breakout came as the team dealt with multiple problems from their starters. Reese Dixon Waters scoreless for 33 minutes before he was able to finally tack on some points. Miles Bird was sick last night. He didn't have a good night, obviously. He played 20 minutes, didn't score any points, was 0 for 5 from the field. Starting center Miles Heide injured early with a hip contusion. He only played 5 minutes last night. Magoon Guath still limited by the flu and ankle issues. Farrell Compton missed multiple dunks last night, but it was the depth that took over. San Diego State scored 77 points. 59 came from the bench. Bench outscored Utah Valley's reserves 59-16. And you start looking at some of the plus minus from last night. The bench outplayed the starters. Sean Newman Jr. was plus 21 on the point difference, on the plus minus. Simmons was plus 17. B.J. Davis plus 15. Compton plus 9. All others on the roster plus 8. Starters were mostly negative in plus minus last night. Really underscores how much the reserves saved the day. B.J. Davis, 6-man star. He had 18 points, his 5th straight game in double digits, and continues to be San Diego State's best rhythm-changing weapon off the bench. Brian Dutcher talked about it after the game, about how he changes the rhythm of the game, and he tells BJ every day how much he values him. I mean, it's a big question of whether or not BJ Davis should start, but Brian Dutcher likes him coming off the bench. He likes the dynamics that he brings to the team by coming off the bench. Late game issues again for San Diego State. San Diego State twice blew double-digit leads last night. They led by 13 and gave up a 12-0 run to close out the first half. They led by 12 in the second half. Utah Valley briefly took the lead up 3 with 3 minutes to go in a game that finally San Diego State put away by winning by 11. Dixon Waters, after sitting at 0 points for the first 33 minutes of the game, hit back-to-back tough layups to seal the deal. Defense wasn't perfect last night, but I thought overall they're starting to step in the right direction. There's a lot of times that we talked about it with Mark Ziegler last week, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago, that Aztecs basketball and the defense, they do all the right things in practice, but it's then applying it to the game and learning the defense that San Diego State wants them to be able to run. They're starting to slowly put that and add that together. So hopefully San Diego State, by the time they get to conference play, can really show the dominance of their defense. They gave up 80-plus in 4 straight games, something that had happened only 5 times in the previous 100 games. And San Diego State finally resembled itself of being a stingy defense. They forced 18 turnovers, held Utah Valley to 66 points, held Utah Valley to 10 points over an 8-minute first-half drought. That's the good news. The bad news is they still allowed 10 three-pointers to be made, 11 offensive rebounds, and 42% overall shooting. But it's progress. Not the vintage Aztecs defense yet, but the way that they're making strides, I think, is a positive. It's a step in the positive direction. So overall takeaways from last night for San Diego State. The depth showed that they're there. They had a great outing out of the bench last night. As mentioned before, Farrell Compton had 12 points. Ty Simmons had 15 points. BJ Davis had 18 points. You had Miles Bird playing with the flu. Magoon Guath was playing with the flu. And overall, the starters only scored 18 points. It shows the depth that Brian Dutcher has. And again, a step in the right direction with the defense. We've seen this Aztecs defense do a lot of great things over the years. It's been a big reason why they have won so many games during this Brian Dutcher, previous Steve Fisher era of Aztec basketball. And to me, I think it's going to be a kind of a slow build of getting these guys together. Now, you look at their upcoming schedule. They get a week off before they host Lamar. And later on December 20th, they got a real tester against the number 2 team in the country in Arizona. They don't play in Tucson. They're playing in Phoenix, which is basically a home game anyway for Arizona. I mean, Arizona does a really good job in filling out the seats everywhere they go. I mean, we got Wilbur the Wildcat in our group chat most mornings. I have seen Arizona, as somebody that's watched Arizona basketball since he was born, I've been to a lot of Arizona basketball games where they take over arenas. I mean, the fact that they got to play them in Phoenix is not a neutral site. That's going to be like almost a true road game. You just don't have to play at the McHale Center, which, by the way, the McHale Center might be one of the most quiet facilities I have ever watched college basketball games at. Not a very loud atmosphere at McHale. That's coming from somebody that attended the University of Arizona for a little bit. But if they could slow down Arizona in a couple of weeks and make that game close, all of a sudden I think the attitude of Aztec basketball is going to change a little bit. But it still asks the question, as the Aztecs sit 4-3 to start the year, a team that was expected to be ranked to start the season, a team that had a lot of guys coming back, who added some big freshmen in Simmons and LZ Harrington, is this San Diego State team actually good, or are they currently just surviving? We're going to answer that question when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. We're still giving away Zach Bryan tickets? Is that the whole week? Wow. I saw somebody, one of the guys I follow on social media, Coach 4, big Padres fan on Twitter. Helps a lot of high school football coaches get jobs with a lot of different stuff. He's from Fallbrook originally. Big San Diego Padres fan, as mentioned before. He just bought Zach Bryan tickets for that event.
There you go.
He's like, Padre game the day after, Zach Bryan the night before. What a weekend, huh?
How about
You
it?
can have yourself a weekend. So we're going to be giving away Zach Bryan tickets in the 1 o'clock hour. Should be fun. All guests on 97 to the all guests on 97 to the Fan join us on the David P. Shapiro Fan Hotline. David P. Shapiro, criminal defense attorneys helping good people regain control of their future when charged with the crime since 2010. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com. I asked the question, is San Diego State basketball actually good this year, or are they just surviving? It's a little bit of an extreme question, but you know what? This is a show that has opinions. It brings up an interesting topic of discussion because the Aztecs currently sit at 4-3 on the year. They're 3-1 at home after dropping a game to Troy. I think the game that they dropped to Troy in a couple overtimes is the one that really sets this through a loop. I mean, losing to Baylor and losing to Michigan is not crazy. Baylor's in the best conference in college basketball in the Big 12, and Michigan has a $12 million roster, and they played Michigan at the time where they're on a heater. It's not who you play, it's when you play them. So you could justify those losses. The Troy loss makes things a little bit more iffy, and the fact that the Aztecs gave up a 13-point lead last night and an 11-point lead late in the game last night where Utah Valley made it close with under 3 minutes to go makes the question come to fruition a little bit. I think this Aztecs basketball team is good. I just think they have to go through a little bit more growing pains as they try to figure out their rotations, figure out what is the winning recipe in terms of starting lineup. I mean, we saw, Taj DeGorville get most of the starts at point for San Diego State, and LZ Harrington, the freshman, highly touted freshman, was coming off the bench, but he was playing exceptional. Now, LZ Harrington is in the starting lineup the last couple of games. Taj DeGorville coming off the bench. There's a mix of play of, not wanting to kill a kid's confidence, too. So all of that is being played out. They needed 59 bench points to beat Utah Valley last night. Now, again, Miles Bird and Magoon reportedly had the flu. So you were going to get as much out of him you got as much out of him as you did. 0 for 5 from the field. Playing with the flu is not great. Not everybody's Michael Jordan, okay?
And as Gonzo said in the chat, who wants to pass it to the guy who's got the flu?
Correct. Starters mostly negative and plus minus. Is this team slowly climbing, Frank, or is this a team masking real problems?
They haven't been great all year long. I mean, this is a team that, go back just a couple of years, they would have taken care of business against Troy. They would have made the Michigan game closer. They would have made the Baylor game closer, possibly would have won the Baylor game. They've got some problems, and they are this slow start. And I know all these big teams have slow starts where they're playing small schools. They're having trouble against these teams. If the bench didn't score 59 points last night, we're talking about a loss today to Utah Valley. That is a problem. So this team has a lot of work to do, especially before it starts conference play, if they want to even be remotely considered as a snub in the national championship tournament.
I look at this Aztec team, I think they're getting better. And I think it's going to take a little bit of time. They do have to gel. They have to have time to gel as a team. And I know there's a lot of guys back, but you got to mix in some of the new guys, some of the transfers. You got to get the execution properly done when it comes to Aztecs defense. I mean, this is a program that's built on, we're going to play really good defense, and then we're going to let the athletes be athletes on offense. I mean, they don't really run an offense. And it leads to some sloppy passing. It leads to some sloppy play sometimes on the offensive end. They have talented players that can overcome that. But, I mean, last night you had Reese Dixon Waters have 0 points in the first 33 minutes of action. 33 minutes of the game. Sorry. I mean, he only played 25 minutes, but the first 33 minutes of the contest, he was scoreless until he hit some layups late and hit the 1 3-pointer. So he didn't have a great day. Magoon Guath battling the flu. Miles Bird battling the flu. LZ Harrington only had 4 points in 20 minutes. I mean, Heidi got hurt in the first 5 minutes. But the bench, there's two things with that, Frank. Like, they needed the bench to win, but you know what? At least they have the bench to come back and win, right? At least they have the bench and the depth to be able to beat teams like Utah Valley. I think it's a little bit of they need to gel. But unfortunately for San Diego State, here's the problem with that. Go Aztecs are in the chat, or somebody brought up like St. John's is 4-3 and ranked. St. John's gets to play in the Big East,
which is a very good conference.
St. John's gets the respect. Like, Florida plays in the SEC. They've played a tough schedule. They're going to get respect in the long run. The problem is for San Diego State is the Mountain West already doesn't get a lot of respect, but also haven't done anything in the non-conference to demand any respect. So as much as these teams need to gel, I get that. I understand. It's early in the season. But you start looking at what the Aztecs have coming up. They have to take advantage of limited opportunities to give themselves a resume for the NCAA tournament.
And if you're looking at, like you mentioned, St. John's, UConn is ranked number 5 this year. Creighton is always ranked. Villanova is always good. Seton Hall's 8-1. Georgetown is 6-2. I mean, these are programs that have been ranked recently and that are seemingly always near the top of the Big East, despite some slow years here recently from Georgetown. But Xavier is always really good. DePaul is usually is good enough to give anybody a fight, especially in that Big East conference. And with the SEC being as good as they are, Florida can overcome that 5-3 start and be in the national championship. Absolutely. But you're talking again about a Mountain West Conference who has seen Boise State lose pay games this year. And Boise State's supposed to be one of the better teams in this conference. Not great.
No, that's not going to help you. You don't want to get in a position where you have to win the Mountain West tournament. They can do it. I mean, they're better than everybody in the Mountain West, at least on paper and in a lot of different aspects. But you look at the net rankings right now, and it's the first edition of it. San Diego State jumped 22 spots last night, but they're 101 in the country. You look at the RPI in college basketball, and San Diego State in the RPI is still relatively low. I mean, I'm searching for them right now. 101 in the net, 112 in the RPI. And you look at their overall synopsis on WarrenNolan.com, which is a great website that does a lot of predictions and everything like that and metrics. But they're 0-1 and they're 0-2 in the quad 1s and 2, 3-1 in quad 3, 1-0 in quad 4. The problem is not like playing good teams. The problem is you have to beat some of those good teams. You have to beat some of those good teams. Like, to me, like, showing up and just competing with Arizona is not going to give them the nod when it comes down to it. Like, they have to win some of these games. Like, beating Oregon is fine, but Oregon's 4-4. And they're 176 in the net, 125 in the RPI. They needed to, try to beat some of these teams on their schedule. And the biggest one that's going to hurt them is Troy, who sits at 4-5, and you lost to them in double overtime. You start looking at the predicted RPI team sheet here for San Diego State. This is based on metrics on WarrenNolan.com, based on predictions. San Diego State is expected to be, at the end of the season, 19-10. And they're expected to be 4-6 on the road, a strength of schedule of 33, an RPI of 50, where they'd be 1-7 in quad 1, 4-3 in quad 2, 6-0 in quad 3, 8-0 in quad 4. To me, I think that's relatively in a good spot. They have San Diego State losing to Arizona by 10 on December 20th. But they're going to have to beat some good teams. They're going to need some help. Like, Utah State's going to have to continue to be good this season. They're going to have to, try to win a couple of games on the road. Like, it'd be nice to get a quad 1 win against Boise State on the road, who's expected to have a higher RPI by the end of the season. They need to win one of the games. They got to win some of these games on the road. But they have, and you look at the projected team sheet, 19-10. They expect San Diego State to go 14-6 in Mountain West play. Here's the 6 losses that Warren Nolan has expected for San Diego State. A loss at Nevada, a loss at Grand Canyon, a loss at Utah State, a loss at Colorado State, a loss at New Mexico, and a loss at Boise. They're expecting them to go undefeated at home. And then they can play Whittier on December 22nd. I mean, that's not going to help them all. Those games don't even count towards the situation anyway. But they got to be able to hang tough with Arizona, I think, and they don't have a lot of time to be able to gel as much as they probably need to at the beginning of the season, Frank.
No, I agree, and it is a rough start to this year. When we were sitting here on this show just saying, wow, they really got snubbed out of the preseason top 25, didn't they? Well, turns out it may not have been as much of a snub as we thought.
Yeah, I mean, they got to be able to take it. The biggest loss to me is Troy. If they win the game against Troy, we're not having this conversation. I mean, losing to Baylor by 10 in a neutral site tournament's fine. I mean, Michigan's beating everybody by 40 or 50 points, so that's not that big of a deal. But you can't have the thing is, and this is where I'm hesitant on this, is, and Go Aztecs put in the chat, can't have bad conference losses like San Jose State. The problem is we've seen San Diego State do that too many times, and therefore you think it's a little built in coming up. I mean, you have to assume, you don't have to assume, but you can't guarantee wins on the road in conference play. They're going to drop a couple of games in conference on the road, and they're going to drop 1 or 2 against a bad team every once in a while. It's hard to win conference games on the road. And they got to start the conference play out properly with a win at San Jose State on December 30th. I mean, if that game's tight, it's going to be tough for San Diego State. And I'm just telling you from like the committee's eyes, who don't value the Mountain West and don't value teams like San Diego State on the West Coast, you don't want to put it in their hands like the football team did. And I know it's not a committee and that's a computer rankings, but they have to be able to take care of business.
Yeah, and that is the biggest part. If you want to have the most success, especially in college athletics, you need to do it on your end. You can't leave it up to somebody else because, as we saw, it's not going to go your way. You're going to have a very rough time of it, and that's unfortunately what San Diego State has done so far this year with that loss to Troy, losing 2 out of 3 in the Players Era tournament. It's not a good start. They're going to really need to blow some people away at the end, coming through the end of this season and through the conference championship if they want to be seriously talked about as national championship tournament contenders.
We all agree that they need to have time to gel, but the timeline is not. It's a little bit. They don't have as much time to mess around here moving forward. And so these next couple of games are very important for San Diego State. If they could hopefully they could give Arizona a run, but Arizona is legit, and they've looked really good. I mean, things flip. If San Diego State beats Arizona, they're going to be fine. But if they again, it's the sloppy play against Troy and just seeing them kind of play with their food too much, it's going to burn you. It burns teams. Eventually, it's eventually going to burn them. So, like the depth last night for San Diego State basketball, I think their defense is improving tremendously. I think they're moving in the right direction. I think you can, call it a one-off with Magoon Guath and with Miles Bird both having the flu. But they got to be able to turn it around, and they can't play with their food in Mountain West Conference. And here's the thing. Like, I look at San Diego State's schedule, right? And here's the Mountain West sucks in terms of like what they do. The fact that they had to play like 20-something games in conference play, which limits how much they can play in the non-conference, is a joke. They can't get out of this conference fast enough. But with these rules, they have to play everybody in the conference twice, basically, except for like 2 teams. I look at the game like January 21st at Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon's RPI is 207. In the national scheme of things, people aren't going to think that Grand Canyon's like a big win. But the reality is, if you go and beat Grand Canyon on the road, you're doing something right because it's hard to beat them on the road. That is a school that a lot of other top programs in the country would have a hard time winning a game at. Same thing with Utah State. Same thing with playing like in Laramie at the Dome of Doom. Same thing with playing at New Mexico and at Boise State. These are all schools that if the big boys showed up would have a problem dealing with, but unfortunately for San Diego State, they don't get the credit on the metric papers. They don't. And that's where this conversation has started. And it really is only a reason. The only reason we're really talking about this is because they lost to Troy.
Another thing I don't like, and this is partly up to San Diego State, I don't like you have a week off between most of these games. Like, you don't play Lamar for another week. You've played 2-3 games before the Players Era tournament where you're playing in 3 or 4 days. I don't like that long, and this is just me personally, I don't like that long layoff between games, especially when you need to gel as a team. I want to try to get a lot of playing time in to maybe the odd week where there's 3 games in one single week, not a full week off. That to me, just you get no momentum build up that way.
I don't think they really had a say in that. It's so hard for San Diego State to schedule games because they're another school that's a trap game. Big schools don't want to play San Diego State because it doesn't reward them if they win.
No, I understand that, but there are but the teams that you're scheduling in here, you've also you have the ability to pick a day where that works for both. So there is a little bit of San Diego State involved.
Well,
Not a lot,
but like they play Whittier 2 days after they play Arizona. It's hard to like line up schedules. And by the way, the Mountain West didn't do you any favors by making you play this gigantic conference schedule that nobody else has to play.
I agree.
So now you have limited spots that you could play in. You already know you're playing in a tournament. And, when you're trying to find spots to fill, you know what Lamar's schedule is, trying to get them out from Texas to come play you in Utah Valley.
I don't care. I'm not saying that they shouldn't be playing teams like that. I'm saying that I just don't like the long layoff between those games.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is I don't think San Diego State has a choice. You only have a certain amount of days that line up with other schools. And if you're not getting you're not getting the days from the other schools, there's nothing you could do about it. They have to do with what they got. And no big school wants to play San Diego State, not even at home. And San Diego State shouldn't have to play all their big opponents on the road. I mean, they got a game with Arizona, and guess what? They got to play it neutral, but it's in the state of Arizona. The only time you could probably line up games is with UCSD and USD, but that doesn't help San Diego State at all. And USD's admitted that. They're like, we got to get to a spot where we can actually make this a benefit for the Aztecs. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense. It's just a waste of time. Yeah. But the problem is you got all these other teams playing in holiday tournaments and other things. And they're traveling. It's tough. Like it's hard to schedule. And I think San Diego State's done a good job with what they've been able to do in terms of scheduling, especially with, let's think about this for a second. They have the holiday tournament here, right? The Rady's Children's deal.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And talking to people that have been part of those conversations, a lot of big schools say, we'll do it, but San Diego State can't be in it. And if we play at Viejas Arena, we can't play against San Diego State. And I'm talking about premier programs that make the NCAA tournament every year, that have more resources than God. And they refuse to play San Diego State on the road because it's scary. So if they can't get big schools to do it, they can't just schedule a bunch of games as schedule games. I mean, if they schedule a bunch of Lamars, it's not going to help them either because it's just going to kill their metrics. So it's a delicate act of trying to get schools that aren't going to destroy your RPI and getting enough games in between so you don't have all these weeks off. I can't say it's all on San Diego State, but I know what you're talking about. I understand where you're coming from. When we come back, can the Padres trade Luis Campusano? It was in some reports. Do they have the prospect capital to replace him? We'll talk about the catching situation when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego's #1 sports station, 97 through the Fan. 10:43 here on the Braden Surprenant Show. Talked Aztec basketball for the first couple of segments. We're going to get more college basketball later on in the show. We're going to dive into some national news when it comes to rumors and free agency and trades in the next segment. Top 10 Boras free agents. Any of these guys fits for the San Diego Padres? We'll talk about that in the 11 o'clock hour. Got to get you some Aztec football conversation. I mean, they're waiting to find out where they're going for a bowl game on Sunday. Sunday's the day that they pick all the bowl games, so it should be fun for that. We'll talk about the local kids signing on signing day yesterday. More news about the Lane train, just to fire up one today on a Thursday. And then we'll make our picks with Skyler at 1 o'clock. Eddie Brown will join us at 1:30, and that'll be today's show. We did want to talk about this. We're going to talk about one kind of group a day. Jeff Sanders has done a great job of researching and putting together the top prospects of the Padres organization per position. And today we're going to focus on the catchers. And the thing with the catching situation in the minor leagues, I mean, everybody talks about Ethan Salas, and that's basically it. And nobody really thinks about the other portions. or other players as part of it. Padres once believed, and here's the other thing too, before we start, is we've seen a couple of times now that Luis Campusano's been listed as, potential trade piece. Now, everybody that's been listed as a potential trade piece this offseason, Frank, has had not a very high percentage in being traded.
What's it called? Article fillers.
I know.
Is what they're called.
That's called, we got to find segments for Hot Stove to talk about on MLB Network for 4 hours before the winter meetings next week. We should have some news during the winter meetings next week.
See, this is the problem with 24-hour networks.
Yeah,
you have nothing,
sports
if
in the
you have
offseason.
nothing, if you have nothing new, got to make some stuff up.
Right. Like they just asked the question on MLB Network, which postseason performer has become a household name in baseball?
Oh boy.
It's like, all right, here we go. But anyway, so Luis Campusano has been listed as that multiple times. Padres once believed Luis Campusano was the catcher of the future. He was the first catcher selected in the 2017 draft. But at 27 years old and out of options and with little major league playing time over the last year, his long-term role with the team is now uncertain. Compounding the issue, Ethan Salas, the franchise's top catching prospect and one of baseball's most hyped teenage talents, essentially lost an entire year of development due to an injury. Recent trades have thinned the catching depth further. Brandon Valenzuela, J.D. Gonzalez, both shipped out at the trade deadline, forcing San Diego to invest heavily in new draft picks to rebuild the pipeline. But here's the breakdown of the Padres' top catching prospects and what their situation says about the organization's future at the position. Ethan Salas is obviously the number one catching prospect the Padres have. He's probably one of the best catching prospects in all of Major League Baseball. Franchise hope, but again, he's dealt with some injuries. He's 19 years old. He's at the AA level in San Antonio. Last year, in just 10 games before he got hurt with the back injury, hit a .188, no home runs, 5 RBIs. He's always been evaluated as somebody that has been a guy that can really good defensively, really good at receiving pitchers, but he needs to work on his hitting. He signed for a $5.6 million contract in 2023 and is viewed as a potential two-way star, someone behind the dish and somebody at the plate. Missed most of the season last year with stress reaction in his lower back. Padres say they're being overly cautious with the teenagers, as they should. He's 19 years old. He's still got a lot of more years of development potentially. He did have early success in 2023, had 9 home runs and an 837 OPS in low A, but he struggled in high A and he has struggled in double A. 589 OPS in 122 games in high A, a 532 OPS in 19 games in double A. These are very low sample size numbers, but missing an entire year of development obviously is going to put him back maybe another year for his estimated time of arrival. His development has stalled due to youth injury and aggressive promotions. He is the organization's crown jewel. He's very talented, but unproven and behind schedule. I think Ethan Salas is probably behind another year, but to me, Frank, in the development of catchers, you don't need him up here at a teenage year. Catchers usually need more time to develop, and they got a couple years now where he can develop with Freddie Fermin being the starting catcher.
Yeah, correct. You don't have to throw him up immediately, and that's exactly what we were talking about before the Freddie Fermin trade, was why you would go out and possibly get a guy like JT Realmuto, who would be a stopgap that he can be the catcher for a couple years and then basically train up Ethan Salas for a couple years after that, or maybe a year or two after that, and then let Ethan Salas go off and run and do what he needs to do. But his biggest thing right now is going to be, can he stay healthy? It's been there's been a couple of injuries that he has had as a 19-year-old, and I think a lot of him struggling in Fort Wayne and him getting off to a 188 average start in San Antonio is because he hasn't had that playing time to be able to get used to and see if he can hang with the at that level. So his biggest focus this year should be just stay healthy, play games. I wouldn't worry too much about results.
He just needs reps.
Yeah,
game reps.
Just get him in games and stay healthy.
The number 2 best catching prospect, as pointed out by Jeff Sanders in this article, 22-year-old Lamar King Jr., who's trending up in a big way. High A Fort Wayne player, hit 274 last season with 4 home runs, 44 RBIs, and 21 stolen bases in 105 games played. He's a former 4th-round pick, son of ex-NFL defensive lineman Lamar King. He got a shoulder dislocation in 2023 that delayed development, but he's known for loud pull side power and athleticism. He had a strong 2025 at Lake Elsinore, earned a late season promotion to High A Fort Wayne, solid showing in the Arizona Fall League, had a 691 OPS. There, he may be the system's next legitimate catching riser if Salas stalls. Now, the question is, how much can Lamar King Jr. trend up to maybe be up higher in the big leagues within the next couple of years should Ethan Salas fall behind schedule even further?
This is where Salas being behind schedule really does hurt you, because you would have liked to have had Ethan Salas starting the year out in El Paso this year. So this way, a kid like Lamar King has a chance to grow in San Antonio. The worst thing you could do for Lamar King right now is to have him go up to AA San Antonio to be the backup catcher for Ethan Salas, because he's not getting playing time. He's just sitting there on the bench. I would rather have King start down in Fort Wayne, have him play every single day, and then see what Ethan Salas can do up there. If Salas is the everyday starter in San Antonio, think maybe about moving him up to El Paso and then move King up to San Antonio. I would not have those two on the same team right now, because they both need to play in order to grow.
Yeah, neither would I. They both need to get starts. The other thing too is now you have, so he's 19, Salas. Lamar King's 22. They're still super young.
Yes.
And have time to develop. The other 2 catchers on this list are both in low A Lake Elsinore. They're both 19 years old. Ty Harvey, a big investment high school pick, hit 174 in 7 games in 2025 because he got drafted in the 5th round. Got $1.5 million in the draft, over triple slot value. So the Padres obviously value Ty Harvey very high. Strong-bodied offensive catcher, short, powerful swing, above-average runner. He's got a big arm. Debuted late due to signing timeline. Only, again, played 7 games, but another potential catcher of the future at 19 years old. Heavy teenager with high ceiling. Tools heavy teenager with high ceiling. Padres paid big to get him. I start to look at some of the catchers that are pointed out here. Now, these are all articles that talk about how great everybody is. But when you got guys like Ty Harvey and Lamar King Jr. with Ethan Salas, it tells you that there's some guys that might be available via trade. I mean, not all these 19 and 22-year-olds are going to be on the same team.
Correct.
Because you only carry 2 catchers. And by the way, Freddie Fermin's under contract for like 4 or 5 years, 4 more years as an arbitration player. One of these guys could be a potential backup, but at the same time, you can't keep all of these guys.
You know what else I'm seeing in this, as far as answering the question of, is Luis Camposano a legitimate trade piece for the Padres? Ethan Salas, AA, Lamar King, High A, Harvey, A ball,
low A,
Truitt, Madonna, A
low
ball,
A, and then there's your veteran,
and then there's Rodolfo
5.
Duran, who is the El Paso. Even the other players to know: AA, High A, rookie, High A ball, rookie ball. He's not a legitimate trade piece. So the Padres are going to have to ride with Luis Camposano as the number 2 catcher, because not only are none of these guys ready to play in the majors, they're not close.
Yeah, and you don't want to spend the money on Jonah Heim to be a backup.
No.
But like you look at like Camposano, he's slated to be the backup catcher. Now, whether or not he is will remain to be seen, but you're going to need somebody, and I don't think you can roll out there with Rodolfo Duran, who's 28 years old in AAA when, I mean, he had good numbers, but everybody's got good numbers in AAA. I mean, Luis Camposano had better numbers in AAA this past year than Rodolfo Duran.
And Duran hit 288, 16 homers, 73 RBI.
Yeah, in 86 games. Former Phillies, Yankees, Royals, farmhands, 847 OPS in AAA in 2025.
And Camposano was better than that.
Duran is hitting well in the Dominican Winter League right now, but he's never cracked Major League Baseball. He's a depth piece to me.
Yeah.
Emergency MLB option, maybe, at the most.
Here's your Brett Sullivan.
But there's some young catchers down there, not just named Ethan Salas, that Padres might have some value in, either being on the team one day or being traded elsewhere. Speaking of trades, free agent rumors, what's going on in the hot stove? We'll talk about it when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show. Remember to listen at 1 o'clock for us to announce today's biggest fan for a chance to qualify for a night in our Odyssey suite at a future Padres game with all of the fan staff. Register your name at 97 through thefansd.com/biggest fan in order to potentially have your name called. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. It is time to dive into what's going on in the hot stove in Major League Baseball. We do it each and every day at 11 o'clock. And here's the latest rumors you need to hear before we go into winter meetings next week.
It's always fun when that music hits. Nostalgic, really. Let's start off with some rumors coming out of Seattle. After quickly re-signing Josh Naylor, the Mariners have struggled to reach a deal with free agent second baseman Jorge Polanco despite his desire to return. With talks stalled, Seattle is exploring trade alternatives and has shown interest in 3 2025 All-Stars: Brendan Donovan from the Cardinals, Ketel Marte from the D-backs, and Brandon Lau from the Rays. Donovan is the most affordable, but would require a major offer to acquire. Marte is the best player of the trio, but is considered an unlikely fit due to his large contract and Arizona's high asking price. Lau appears to be the most realistic target, especially given his manageable contract and Seattle's strong trade relationship with Tampa Bay.
Mariners going out there to try to improve their ball club again, which is good to see. They finally actually are putting things together. So not going to go with Jorge Polanco. It sounds like. I don't know.
Sounds like they both want to. They both want to come back. They want him to come back, and he wants to go back.
Would you rather have Ketel Marte or Jorge Polanco?
No, but what I'm saying is that they're apart on number, and neither one of them appears to be willing to budge. They both want the reunion, but there's an hurdle that neither one of them are willing to jump over.
I'd rather have Ketel Marte in general anyway.
I agree.
If I'm Seattle.
Yeah.
I think
How
you
old
could
is
make
Jorge Polanco? He's like 35, no?
Jorge Polanco. I got to look that up.
In his mid-30s.
He's up there in age. The problem with like the Mariners and adding Ketel Marte is he's under contract. His contract's not very good. Jorge
32.
Polanco is 32. He's expected to get $14 million a year on a 2-year deal.
I would have to guess that they're trying to get him for 10.
Well, if he's expected
that.
to get 14 a year, Ketel Marte counts for 14 a year, and he's the same age. You just have him for a longer period of time.
Yeah.
I'd probably rather have Ketel Marte.
I would, but how much? And the thing that this points out is how much are they going to have to break that team apart in order to get him with Arizona's high asking price?
Well, I think Arizona's trying to get rid of him to dump salary, and I think they're trying to get rid of him because he's a pain in the ass in the clubhouse from all the reports that have come out. I mean, it just sounds like they're kind of done with him. And the thing is, it's like everybody knows about these reports. This is what's funny to me about MLB teams.
Yeah, they're not hiding it.
All these reports always come out about like, it's not really great in the clubhouse, or he's kind of a problem here. And it's a lot of, it's probably time to move on. Yet these organizations still hold, they think they have all the leverage in terms of, well, he's just such a great player. We got to get a lot out of him. Well, no, you're trying to get rid of him, dude. Like, everybody knows you're trying to get rid of him. There's a reason why you're trying to get rid of him. I know he's a great player, but he's injury prone, and he needs to change the scenery. And everybody knows that, Arizona. So you're not going to get like your full value of Ketel Marte. Nobody's going to ask for it. You're going to get stuck with the guy. I mean, you either really want to trade him or you don't. I think Seattle's got, like, Go Aztecs puts in the chat and smart. They got pitching prospect. They got pitching capital in Seattle.
I really
that they
wish,
can flip with Arizona, who was a disaster with their starting pitching because of all the injuries they had.
I really wish I could hear what's on MLB Network right now. They're talking about the 2 or 3 years that the Yankees were playing at Shea during the 70s while Yankee Stadium was being renovated. Anyway.
The other one is like, would you rather have Jorge Polanco or Brandon Lau?
I'd probably have Polanco, honestly.
Because those are trade pieces, right?
Yeah, all 3 of them were trade pieces, yes.
Brandon Lau is 31. He counts for 11.5. Honestly, I'd probably rather trade to get Brandon Lau than pay Polanco 14. Here's what they don't want to pay Polanco $14 to $15 million a year.
Yeah.
So their other options are I can get a player that's actually worth $14 to $15 million a year in Ketel Marte, or I can get a guy that's probably worth what Jorge Polanco's worth that might be slightly better than Jorge Polanco and Brandon Lau and save some money.
Would you rather have Jorge Polanco or Jake Cronenworth? He's been another guy that's been rumored in a lot of trades as well. With like 2% chance of going.
I'd probably rather have Jake Cronenworth. He's more dynamic in other aspects.
It was a joke. I was being sarcastic.
I know. Donovan? I don't know why St. Louis would try to trade him.
No, he's supposed to be one of their young stars. But again, as we talked about yesterday with what St. Louis is doing, they're
he's going to be 28
to completely tear down.
I think he's expendable. I changed my mind. He's 28 years old. He will be 29 at the end of next season. He's got 2 years left of control. He's a free agent 2028. Is Brendan Donovan at that age in line for the window for the Cardinals to be good? No. Because they're not going to be good for another, probably, if they're going to do what everybody thinks they're going to do and getting rid of Arenado Contreras, they got to build around guys like Nolan Gorman, anybody that's a free agent in 2029 and 2030, like Mason Wynn, Jordan Walker, the guys that are not eligible. Those are the players that you're building around, not Brendan Donovan. He's too old. That doesn't fit the timeline. So that's the trade that they need to make. The Mariners need to make. They need to get Brendan Donovan.
There's a couple of young pitchers that St. Louis has. Tink, I know, is one of them.
Andre Palante?
No, not Palante. I'm talking like young prospect pitchers. Tink is one of them. JJ Weatherholt is supposed to be a middle infield option. Quinn Matthews is supposed to be really good. Coming up as Tink Hence, that's who it is. Cooper Herp, I guess that's how you say that. HJERPE. Those are some big young pitcher names that St. Louis has that they're going to want to build around too. And you're right, Donovan does not fit in that plan. Moving on, the Tampa Bay Rays have signed Cedric Mullins. The Rays have agreed to a 1-year deal with the 2021 All-Star center fielder, per MLB.com's Mark Feinsand. Mullins, 31, is coming off a down offensive season in which he hit .216 with 17 homers for the Orioles and Mets, struggling significantly after his July 31st trade to New York. Despite that, he remained a strong defensive center fielder, posting 4 outs above average in 2025. Mullins is the most notable free agent outfielder to sign so far in a thin market headed by stars such as Kyle Tucker and Cody Bellinger. Tucker has drawn more interest from several teams, including the Blue Jays, while major spenders such as the Mets, Yankees, Dodgers, and Phillies are reportedly in on Bellinger. Mullins' signing could help accelerate move in the outfield market as the winter meetings approach.
I think it's a good signing for Tampa. I think it's a low risk, high reward move. Like Cedric Mullins, that is the type of player that we always clamor for the Padres to sign. Now, he doesn't fit the Padres. He's like a fourth outfielder for $7 million, probably not. But when you talk about filling out your roster with good, solid MLB players, low risk, high reward, Cedric Mullins fits in that category. He's 30. He's going to be 31 years old next year. What time June rolls around, $7 million. That's worth it to me on a guy that used to be an all-star. He's not super old. He probably still has some left. A little change of scenery. That's a great sign for Tampa Bay. It's a perfect sign for Tampa.
He's back in the American League East as well, so he knows the teams they'll be facing. So that's
the teams, the ballparks.
Yep, that is a good pickup.
The guy's hit 247 in his career.
Yeah, he's a solid player. Yeah, it for whatever reason did not work out in New York after he got traded. And the only reason why they traded him is because they thought Jose Siri was going to be out for the year. The Cody Bellinger sweepstakes are coming down to finalists. Bellinger is one of the most coveted free agents this offseason after hitting 29 home runs with a 125 OPS plus for the Yankees last year. and providing strong defensive versatility. MLB Network's John Paul Morosi reports that several major market teams are pursuing him, including the Yankees, Mets, Phillies, and possibly the Dodgers. The Yankees see bringing him back as the simplest way to fill their final outfield need, while the Mets, who traded Brandon Nimmo for Marcus Semien, seek outfield help and could also use Bellinger at first base if Pete Alonso decides to depart. The Dodgers, where Bellinger began his career and won Rookie of the Year and MVP, makes sense given their lack of production in left field last season, and the Phillies are in the market for a corner outfielder with Bellinger's left-handed bat serving as insurance should Kyle Schwarber sign.
All right, Cody Bellinger sweepstakes. They're all big name teams.
Yes.
Mets, Yankees, Dodgers, Phillies. I don't see him really. I can't see him in a Mets uniform, and I can't see him in a Phillies uniform. And that's because I've seen him in Dodgers and Yankees uniforms. I can see the Dodgers bringing him back. He just fits the Dodgers so well. That would suck for us, but you know what? Cody Bellinger, I just feel like belongs in LA. I think he'll probably sign there.
I mean, that's
if they're all offering the equal thing. I mean, Cody Bellinger from Arizona came through the Dodgers organization.
Yeah,
a reunion, he's going to
most...
jump on it fast.
And the question, though, with Bellinger, with whoever he signs has these last 2 years been kind of iffy, or has he gotten back on not quite his MVP caliber, but is he close enough to it that signing a massive deal for him isn't going to absolutely kill you?
So the Dodgers, the Yankees, the Mets, and the Phillies can all afford to have massive contracts fail. They can buy their way out of them. Those are the four, and it's funny, isn't it interesting that those are the four teams that are looking at this guy?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the risk reward you have with
Cubs
Cody Bellinger.
Red Sox can do it too, and they're not. So
Cubs already had him one. Cubs aren't like
Cubs
I mean,
did have him, yes.
The Cubs offered Shota Imanaga a qualifying offer, thinking he wasn't going to sign.
I think that was the surprise of the qualifying offer.
I don't know how much money the Cubs actually have at this point in time. I think Cody Bellinger is going to be a Dodger. That'd be my guess.
I would agree with you. I think the Phillies might push a little bit more for him because their outfield depth is so lacking. Plus, they're not bringing back Castellanos.
Our resident Phillies friend, which I know is hard to say, Crum is hoping Bellinger's a Philly. So
I have a feeling if he doesn't go, to the Dodgers, he'll go to Philadelphia, which is not going to make anyone else happy.
That Phillies outfield, you get Castellanos out of there and you replace him with Cody Bellinger. That's a massive upgrade for Philadelphia.
Yeah, it's a huge upgrade unless, somebody important passes away and then you're going to wish you had Castellanos.
That's a terrible Castellanos tragic joke.
Yes.
Fly ball to the left. That's not just passing. It's everything.
It's any sort of tragedy.
It's so sad as a society that when something bad happens, everybody puts money on a Nick Castellanos home run.
That just
anytime homer.
That goes to show where we are, boys.
That's where we're at. People bet on a lot of weird things, Frank. Let me tell you.
Well, no, that's not betting on something. That is betting in relation to an event.
Well, it's still betting on something. You're betting on something that happened because of another event happening. Hilarious. We'll see what happens. Well, you know what? If something bad happens, are people going to put money on Nick Castellanos signing that day? That could be the day he signs.
I don't think that's how it works.
Any type of tragedy?
I hope.
Terrible tragedy. Just breaking news. Terrible tragedy. And Nick Castellanos just signed with the Dodgers.
I'm assuming he has kids.
He does. He has a son.
Yeah, I want to see him. If something happens, I want to see him cranking a wiffle ball home run off his son. Like just keep the meme going. Just fully embrace the bit. just take your son yard with a wiffle ball. Like do something fun.
You know what they should do? He should just do it. He just needs to do it one time.
Oh yeah,
take a video of it and just repost it every single time.
Absolutely.
The fly ball to the left. All right. Scott Boras is always popular at this time of the year. Next week we will get the. Oh, you're gonna be. Don't you love Scott Boras? Isn't he like your favorite?
Yes.
He does his usual like scripted scrums at the winter meetings when he uses all these puns and dad jokes when it comes to his clients and other teams. I can't wait for that. That's going to be so fun. But what's more important are the top 10 clients that he has that are still available. Who are these clients? Do any of them fit the San Diego Padres? We'll talk about these potential free agent pickups when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego Summer Sports Station 97 through the Fan. August on 97 through the Fan. Join us on the David P. Shapiro Fan Hotline. David P. Shapiro, criminal defense attorneys helping good people regain control of their future when charged with a crime since 2010. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each and every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Winter meetings begin in Orlando next week. All eyes once again turn to Scott Boras, who represents the deepest pool of elite free agents in the 2025-2026 class. Boras already jump-started the offseason by securing a 7-year, $210 million deal for Dylan Cease, but he still has at least 10 top-tier unsigned clients who will shape the market over the coming weeks. This is a look at the 10 biggest Boras free agents, their market value, potential landing spots, and the storylines surrounding each player. We're going to get to that in a second. The big picture of this that we talk about is the fact that with more than 20 free agents still unsigned, Boras Corporation will dominate the headlines throughout December and likely into January. He controls the market. He has most of the Major League Baseball players. Multiple positions of need across Major League Baseball. Teams are desperate for first base and DH power, and we'll choose between guys like Alonso, Okamoto, Bellinger, Alex Bregman. Starting pitching market hinges heavily on Suarez, Amai, Gallen, Scherzer, and Martinez. The Braves and Brewers are bidding to reshape their infield via Hassan Kim, and you can expect a lot of major dominoes to drop at the winter meetings, at least laid out in the article by The Athletic. Now, before we dive into that, did you see the Eno Saris article about Dylan Cease?
I did not, no.
It's very interesting stuff. Now, I think a lot of people, and this is kind of a conversation of eye test versus metrics. A lot of people here in San Diego were like, why is Dylan Cease getting $210 million over a 7-year deal? We're some of those people. Dylan Cease posted a 4.55 ERA in 2024, below average season that placed him in the 27th percentile among starting pitchers with 100-plus innings. Yet he signed the 7-year, $210 million contract with Toronto. Eno Saris lays out why that doesn't matter. He goes on to say that ERA is not predictive. ERA explains only 8% of what a pitcher's ERA will be the following season. It contains heavily influence from defense behind the pitcher, park factors, random sequencing, umpire variance, batted ball, luck, or should we put it, batting average on balls in play. Because of this, Eno Saris lays out that Major League Baseball teams lean more on predictive modeling. Here are the modern metrics that matter before you start looking at starting pitchers. Teams now emphasize metrics as fielding independent pitching, which is twice as predictive as ERA. SIERA, which is SIERA, nearly 3 times as predictive. Strikeout to walk percentage, strikeouts minus walks. Plus, they have other things like baseball perspective DRA, deeper environmental adjustments. Stuff Plus quantifies pitch quality and stuff. And projected systems combine all of these plus stuff models into more accurate forward-looking value. Cease's percentile rankings among starters with 100-plus innings, 27th percentile in ERA, not great. But all of the metrics that Eno Saris lays out that teams look at to see if the player's good, he's in the 80th percentile in almost every single statistical category that we've just mentioned. 77th percentile in fielding independent pitching and 75th percentile in DRA plus. Translation, the ERA says he's bad, but the predictive metric says he's elite. This is why all the national pundits say that Dylan Cease is going to be a great pitcher in 2026. Do we believe any of this information?
Allow me to interject my opening argument. I yield back.
I just think it's just too much information. Because I look at this and it's like, I feel like we are now in a situation with predictive statistics that we just create more and more new statistics that are now more valuable than others. It's always like, this is now more valuable than the other one. Like,
it's almost like creating a metric to prove that you're right. That's what it feels like. It feels like, okay, well, we have this stat that proves I'm right, so this is the one that we're going to believe, and this is why he's worth this amount of money. Okay, well, I have this statistic called my eyes that have seen what he's done over the last 3 years, and it's proving that you're wrong. So what do you say now?
This is what Sarah said about why Toronto paid $210 million. He said contract deferrals make the real value lower. Present day value, $182 million based on deferrals, which is comparable to Blake Snell's deal. Not a Garrett Cole Yamamoto tier contract, essentially market rate money for a number 1, number 2 arm with risk built in. Projected WAR justifies it. Streamer projected has a 3.8 WAR in 2025. Aging curve, 16 WAR over life of the contract. Cost per win, about $11.4 million per WAR, aligns with normal free agent pricing. I agree with that, Steve Mike. It sounds like a bunch of nonsense to me.
It's
a bunch of extra stuff.
It's over explaining your decision. If you have to explain and justify your decision this much, you didn't make the right decision. I'm sorry. That's just, if you have to jam this much down our throats to justify why what you did was right, you don't even think what you did was right.
This is what they also said. I mean, they also factored in the durability and everything like that. Saris goes into like what went wrong in 2024 for Dylan Cease. Bad luck. 320 batting average on balls in play. Second worst of his career. Low strand rate, defensive issues behind him. I mean, how bad defensively were the Padres? Were they bad defensively?
Not that I remember.
I don't remember them being that bad defensively. Maybe they were. Second and third time to the order. OPS allowed ballooned to almost 800. Fastball slider reliance raises concern about being a 2-pitch pitcher. We've seen that. Late season adjustments. In August and September, he increased usage of his sinker, his sweeper, and his knuckle curve. September became his best month of the season. Potential splitter addition. He has been trying to learn a splitter from Kevin Gossman. Blue Jays are one of MLB's most splitter-heavy organizations. Clear developmental plan.
The Padres gave up the third least amount of earned runs last year. Third least. They gave up 578 earned runs last year. The only teams that gave up less runs than them were the Brewers and the Rangers.
So the conclusion that Saris came with, Dylan Cease got $210 million, not because of results, but because the predictive models love him. His stuff is top tier. He's durable. He's already adjusting his pitch mix, and Toronto believes they can unlock the next level. I mean, Ruben Niebla is a really good pitching coach, and Ruben Niebla couldn't unlock the next level, but Toronto is going to unlock the next level? I think they overpaid for this. I mean, these metrics are interesting, right? And this is the analytic department working. This is a good case to see if whether or not it's eyeball tests or analytics. The case study of Dylan Cease.
You have to.
I think it's
both.
a massive overpay for $30 million a year.
It is unbelievably overpaid, but you have to have both. You can't just ignore one and expect to be right every single time. You have to be able to do both. You have to be able to look at what the guy is doing, and you also have to see, okay, well, he's having a down year, but as we were talking about with Xander Bogaerts over the course of the year, we were talking about how his bat speed is still there. It's not like he's getting old and slowing down. He's just having rotten luck. But the eye test is proving that he's not doing too great right now. So that's where reliance on the stats and the analytics prove to be right. But you also can't just ignore the fact that this guy has stunk all year long until now is finally starting to catch up and is starting to swing back the other way. You have to be good at both. You can't just rely on one.
I don't see this working out for him. But it's a good case study. As I mentioned before, it's a good case study on whether or not it is, predictive models are going to be able to work. And all these organizations use some type of predictive models. But to me, I've seen Dylan Cease pitch the last 2 years, and he's been solid sometimes, but he was a massive headache, I think, for a lot of Padres fans to watch last year throughout the majority of the season. And I go ask this in the chat brings up a good point. I mean, we're talking about a Blue Jays team that could not fix Alek Manoah or Jose Barrios, where they were awful, and they've been awful. So we'll see. But the last quote that's in here is, if the splitter and expanded arsenal stick, the Blue Jays might even get a bargain on Dylan Cease. I don't care how good Dylan Cease pitches. $30 million a year at any point is not going to be a bargain.
Speaking of the Blue Jays, did you see this from Sportsnet from just before our show started? The Blue Jays have pushed their season opener back a day. The season was supposed to start on the 26th. It's now going to be a night game on the 27th.
Interesting.
So unless there's it's an event, maybe. I mean, it's a dome stadium. They could do it whenever they want. It doesn't matter.
Well, you get those first 2 days for like a rain out.
Yeah,
usually they have a retractable roof.
Yeah, usually day 2 is used to protect the opener. But with a dome, you don't need that. But it's interesting that it was scheduled to have that day protected. And now it's not just going to be a day game the next day. It's going to be a night game the next day.
We're going to do opening night instead of opening day.
Yeah.
Interesting. 823-288-0973, 833-288-0973. I wanted to get to some of those numbers. I mean, because this is a Boras guy, Dylan Cease. That's the kind of money he got. Who are the other Boras clients that are available coming up in the winter meetings? Sounds like a lot of them might sign during the winter meetings. Who knows? I will believe it when I see it. There's a couple names on the list that the Padres might be inclined to sign. We'll talk about that when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. This hour 97 to the Fan is brought to you by Mission Fed. From first accounts to big life moments, Mission Fed can help. Saving shouldn't be stressful. Mission Fed makes it easier with great rates on savings certificates and ultra money market accounts. Grow your money the smart way. Check the latest rates and open an account at missionfed.com. Membership and account criteria apply. We are going to be giving away Zach Bryan tickets at 1:15. We have played a Zach Bryan song coming back from break. The song is called American Nights. We played the remix version of it. We have 2 Zach Bryan songs that come back from break. One of them is American Nights as part of our rejoiners. And the other song that we have is, I'm pretty sure if she wants a cowboy, but we're going to go with American Nights. Just remember that information. All right, moving on. Frank. Winter meetings begin in Orlando next week. The 8th? Is that what it is? 4 days?
Yep.
8 to the 10th, 8 to the 11th, something like that. Sam Levitt will be out there. Hopefully, when he joins our show, we're talking about some signs or some trades that the Padres have made. That's the hope. There are key Boras clients still available. There's 10 of them. We're going to try to get through them here in the next 5 minutes. And a lot of them are connected to potential fits for the Padres. I think there's 3 on there, if I'm not mistaken. 4, if I'm not mistaken.
4.
Let's talk about these guys for a second. Number 1 on the list, most notable. I guess it could be 1 and 1A with Pete Alonso and Alex Bregman. These are going to be the big contract guys. Very important pieces, I think, that are going to set the market for free agency, Frank.
I agree. So, starting off, as you mentioned, with Pete Alonso, you wanted to do, did you want to do all of them in a row, or did you want to do the Padre ones?
Let's go through the top teams, or top ones, and then we'll get focused on the Padres.
Okay,
We already talked about Cody Bellinger, so we can
we have Pete Alonso coming off a rebound 2025 season highlighted by leading the National League in doubles,
which apparently are disappearing.
Yeah, love that. Durable, he's played 152 games in every 152 at least games in every season. Seeking a long-term contract after a short-term deal last winter. His top fits are the Mets and the Red Sox. Possible other suitors: the Pirates, the Reds, the Angels, the
Rays, the Nationals, the Diamondbacks, the Rockies, and the Twins.
It's the Mets or the Red Sox, really.
Here's the deal. See, who wrote this article? Is this a Rosenthal deal in The Athletic?
Let me see here. This is
maybe this is the situation that I'm like.
This is a Jim Bowden.
Getting conspiracy theory on you. Why did they list all these bad teams on there?
I don't know.
None of those teams are going to sign this guy.
No.
What they're going to do, though, is they're going to pretend to sign the guy, and then they're going to get outbid by the Mets and the Red Sox, and they're going to be like, we try to spend money, but this is unfair. It's setting up for that. Look at these fits. Alex Bregman opted out of his deal. Rebuild fits. Angels and Pirates. Why would Alex Bregman sign with either of those teams? Even if the Angels and the Pirates are the highest bidders, why would you sign with either of those teams?
He would never.
He would never. It plays into somebody's hands for CBA. I'm just saying. It's not crazy. It's sports. I think the Mets reclaim Pete Alonso. I think the Red Sox are going to get somebody else instead.
I hope so.
I don't think they're signing Alex Bregman,
though. This one is Padre ties. Ranger Suarez. Phillies want him back, but they feel like they can survive without him. He's been a steady performer. He's had a 3.33 ERA across the last 53. Excellent pitchability. Limited mileage on his arm. Only has 762 dyslexia kicking in there.
Yeah,
but has
not 762.
Yeah, but has a history of back issues. Interested teams: the Astros, the Braves, the Padres, Mets, Angels, and Tigers.
Padres are probably interested in every starting pitcher, but he's expected to get a 5-year, $25 million deal. He's 30 years old. I mean, paying him until he's 35 is fine. I'm a little bit weary about a potential injury problem, but I don't see him as a fit for the Padres because I think it depends on how much money they have to spend.
Mm-hmm.
They got to add starting pitching. They could add bullpen arms. They need the DH first baseman, which, by the way, it sounds like everybody needs a DH and a first baseman. And if they only have around $30 million to spend, unless they make some trades, I mean, spending 25 of it on one guy, I just find that hard to believe. I'm sure they're interested, but I just don't think the Padres are going to be able to do that. It'd be sweet if they did.
I agree.
He'd have to be a situation where like it goes down in price and you get a deal at spring training because nobody wanted him or they didn't want to pay the money.
That, or maybe you try to find a way where you backload the contracts, opt-outs sprinkled in all over the place. I mean, that's could be a way you get him. We'll skip over Cody Bellinger, as we said. Tatsuya Imai, one of Japan's most electric arms, averaging a 99. We've talked about him
We've talked about him a lot. He's listed as a
Giants expected as
link.
Giants expect as the early favors, but the strongest links: Padres, Rangers, Yankees, Mets, Red Sox, and Cubs.
He's more worth a bigger contract to me.
I agree.
Than Suarez. He's younger. You know, you could have him for longer years. He's projected to be a number 2 starter. He might have to go through some growing pains early, but to me, he's the guy that you would want for the San Diego Padres. Zach Gallen, interesting potential fits: the Astros, Tigers, Orioles, Braves, Mets, and Cubs. We will focus on some of these guys a little bit more later on because there is one on the list that I do like later in the conversation. I just don't know how much it would cost to bring him back, but I think he's a great fit for the Padres and what they need. We'll talk about that later on in the next hour, but we need to get to today's sports thread.
You know that group chat? The one that's always blowing up with the biggest sports takes, debates, and breaking news?
You got barbecue back there, and you didn't invite me?
Yeah, we've got that too. Welcome to the Sports Thread, where we break down the top 5 stories in sports, just like you would with your crew.
Oh, no! Disaster! What a bad idea!
No filters, no silence, just real talk. Brought to you by QC Kinetics. Stop sitting on the sidelines. QC Kinetics gets you back in the game without surgery. To learn how, visit QCkinetics.com.
Sorry, I'm over here trying to do 7 different things at once here. First of all, we'll start off with the NBA.
Number 1.
In the National Basketball Association.
Chris Paul and the LA Clippers have been at odds for weeks before his sudden removal from the team. According to ESPN reporting, Paul's outspoken leadership style clashed with coach Tyronn Lue and the organization, which felt his approach had become disruptive. Clippers executive Lawrence Frank said the decision was not based on one incident, but ongoing conversations showing that the fit wasn't working. Paul was informed in a long emotional meeting after travel delays, and he later posted on social media that he was being sent home. Despite the team's poor 5-16 start, the Clippers emphasized that Paul was not a scapegoat and that Lue's job is secure. Do you think veteran players' strong leadership style should be valued even if it conflicts with coaching or management? Or is team harmony more important than the influence of an accomplished veteran like Chris Paul?
You need team harmony. You can't have everybody's got to be pulling the rope in the right direction. You can't have dysfunction even though there's like strong leadership. Did you see the meme going around by that fake account NBA Central?
Central, yes.
It's so funny. NBA Central, right? They had the press release from the Clippers.
Mm-hmm.
I got to go find it and read it because it's so funny with the whole Chris Paul saga. Statement from the LA Clippers front office. This is all fake, by the way. I just want to mention this is fake. Quote, Chris Paul is trying to win, and that did not align with our organizational expectations, Los Angeles Clippers front office. It's fake. It's all fake, but it's funny. It's funny. That was hilarious. No, you need good, strong central leadership in the clubhouse, in the locker room. You need strong central leadership from players. But the problem is it has to coincide with what the coaching staff and the front office are doing. Otherwise, you have a massive problem. Clippers had a massive problem. Chris Paul's expendable. See ya.
It would have been nice for the Clippers to have worked this out because he spent a lot of time with the Clippers. I think most people see him as a Clipper, and he's retiring at the end of this year, which I think is the reason why he went back. But you can't have your star a star player, a veteran player like Chris Paul, and the coach not on speaking terms for the last several weeks, which is also what that article reported.
Mm-hmm.
So that you can't have that.
Number 2.
Two Pittsburgh Steelers legends, Ben Roethlisberger and James Harrison, publicly suggested that it may be time for the franchise to part ways with longtime head coach Mike Tomlin. Roethlisberger said on his podcast that a, quote, fresh start could benefit both Tomlin and the Steelers, even proposing that Tomlin would be a strong candidate for the open Penn State head coaching position. Harrison echoed similar sentiments, saying that Tomlin is, quote, a good, not great coach, and that the current Steelers are not playing to their potential. The criticism comes as the Steelers, now 6-6, have stumbled after a strong start to the season, prompting fans to boo and chant for Tomlin's firing during Sunday's loss to the Bills. Penn State, meanwhile, continues its coaching search after BYU's declined interest due to public criticisms from former star players like Roethlisberger and Harrison, do public criticisms from former stars like Roethlisberger and Harrison meaningfully influence a franchise's decision on a head coach?
It shouldn't. I think you could take some input, but not too much. I don't think it should make that big. I mean, you got to evaluate everything from everybody, but like everybody's got their own opinions on things, and you're not going to be able to please everybody.
It's so interesting how Roethlisberger threw out the Penn State job too. That to me is like we're auditioning him for new jobs now, and we're seeing how well this whole NFL coach to college works with North Carolina and Bill Belichick not making a bowl game.
Not every former head coach has the problem that Bill Belichick has as he is living a end of life crisis with his 20-something-year-old girlfriend.
Have you seen that skit that came out?
No, I don't need to see it.
Oh, it's so good. It's fun. Anyone who has
Tomlin's never had a losing season, so like. I think Tomlin would be a great potential coach at Penn State. I just, are the Steelers ever going to make a change? They would have to at this point.
That's the one thing about
it's the Aaron Rodgers effect.
That's the one thing I'm noticing about Pennsylvania football teams is they ride or die with these coaches. They do not change unless they physically cannot coach anymore or die. One of the two. And there's a need for change in Pittsburgh.
Number 3.
Texas Tech has announced a 7-year contract extension for head coach Joey McGuire, averaging nearly $7 million per year and including incentives for future Big 12 and postseason success. McGuire has guided the Red Raiders to an 11-1 regular season in 2025, with every victory coming of at least 20 points, earning a number 5 ranking in the college football playoff. Over his 4-year tenure, he has amassed a 34-17 record, tying the program record for most wins in that span since Jim Carlin back in 1970-73. Athletic Director Kirby Hocutt emphasized that the extension reflects Texas Tech's commitment to sustained success and establishing the Red Raiders as consistent Big 12 contenders with regular playoff appearances. McGuire expressed gratitude for the university's support and reaffirmed his dedication to continuing the program's upward trajectory. How much of this extension is a reward for good work, and how much of it is in this current landscape? Is it the current landscape of college football coaching?
It's probably a little bit of both. I mean, Texas Tech's had a phenomenal year this year. They've also spent $12 million in the transfer portal. Kind of equals to winning. There is a topic of conversation I want to do tomorrow about college football like this, but good for McGuire. Texas Tech's having a great year. I mean, when coaches have a great year in this day and age of college football, they get extensions. Sonny Dykes in his first year went to the national championship, and guess what? He got an extension before his original contract was going on.
But also, how much of this extension is okay? We don't want to
That's
lose
probably
you
some
to
of
another
it.
team.
I just don't know who's going to hire McGuire somewhere else. The thing with Texas Tech is they got so much oil money that they could have anybody be their head coach. It really doesn't matter. Did you see this? Since we're about to get the top of the hour.
Yeah, we're going to break.
This just came out. It's going to excite Frank. Mark your calendar, buddy.
Oh, boy.
We will be live.
Oh, wait. Oh, we're doing something? Hold on.
No. We're not doing anything. We're going to be in Baltimore for this.
Yes.
The 2026 SEC football schedule will be announced on Thursday, December 11th, live on the SEC Network at 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central. This is great. I really hope they stack LSU at Ole Miss and at Tennessee in back-to-back weeks.
Oh, that's right. That is the thing. Never mind.
That's why you need to be excited,
I'm
Frank.
all in now. Never mind.
Come on.
You got me back.
Why else would I be bringing it up?
Lead with that next time.
It's called the tease, Frank. We'll talk about Aztec football. Where do you might be going for a bowl game when we come back?
San Diego, it's time to fire it up. From the beaches to the ballparks, from the Gaslamp to North County, no one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime year.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
New lunchtime hour on 97.3 The Fan. Hour away before we announce today's biggest fan. And in the 1 o'clock hour, about 1:15, we're going to give away tickets to Zach Bryan. We'll be playing at Snapdragon Stadium on July 31st. Tickets at Ticketmaster.com. Giving away a pair of those at about 1:15. All guests on 97.3 The Fan. Join us on the David P. Shapiro Fan Hotline. David P. Shapiro, criminal defense attorneys, helping good people regain control of their future when charged with the crime since 2010. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com. Take a look at some college football here in a second. What San Diego State is doing as their season has come to a close in terms of the regular season. A lot of indications look like San Diego State might be going to the famous Idaho Potato Bowl, but nobody will know until Sunday when they start announcing all of the bowl games throughout the country and who's going where for potential bowl games. We'll talk about that in a second. I do want to get back to the rest of this list when it comes to the top 10 players available that are Boras clients. We got through the top 5. We tried to really start with Zach Gallen at number 6. Frank, here are some of the names that might be moving and finding new destinations and new teams during the winter meetings next week. Zach Gallen, the 6th best potential client, or sorry, 6th best potential free agent signing for somebody that is a Boras client, Zach Gallen.
Yeah, so Zach Gallen right now has a track record of a 20.8 career B WAR. That's another thing that drives me nuts. Which one do we use now? Do we use B WAR? Do we use F WAR? Do we use just WAR? What do we use?
Well, there's two types of WAR. Do you know the difference between B WAR and F WAR?
As someone who is asking that question in that tone of voice, did it sound like I know the difference between either one of them?
B WAR is Baseball Reference's version of WAR. F WAR is Fangraph's version of WAR. Yes, there's a difference.
We can't even agree on which WAR to use.
WAR.
God.
Absolutely not. We should play that song. That should just be the song that we play when we talk about B and F WAR. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, consistent top of rotation ability, but his walk year saw a career worst fifth
Fielding and pitching.
No, I know what it means.
Fielding independent pitching.
FIP and strikeout rates. FIP, if you will. Teams must determine what caused his regression, whether it be mechanics, pressure, or health. Potential fits being the Tigers, the Orioles, the Astros, the Braves, Mets, and Cubs. He could be one of the offseason's best starting pitcher signings if he rebounds.
Well, what does his projective metrics mean? Let's go look back at what's his Sierra. His skilled, what is that again? Skilled interactive. What is it? Let me see. I got to go look it up again. I said skilled interactive. What is his skill interactive earn run average? Skilled interactive earn run average.
It is a number that should not exist. How about that one? How about that one?
Well, remember, skilled interactive earn run average factors out ballpark factors and other moments of
who cares?
Independence. I don't know.
Who cares?
Skilled interactive earned run average. Skilled interactive earned run average. It quantifies a pitcher's performance by trying to eliminate factors the pitcher can't control by himself.
That's cool.
So what you do is, oh my God, the formula.
Oh my God. No, I want to hear it now. I want to hear it.
I can't say it.
Go ahead.
It's a bunch of numbers.
Just
and stuff
do
in
it.
there,
Just
too.
do the thing.
So here's this is on MLB.com. Sierra, I don't even know if they call it Sierra or if they go SIERA. Which one is better? Sierra quantifies a pitcher's performance by trying to eliminate factors the pitcher can't control by himself. But unlike a stat such as expected fielding independent pitching, Sierra considers balls in play and adjusts for the type of ball in play. For example, if a pitcher has a high expected fielding independent pitching, but has also induced a high proportion of grounders and pop-ups instead of line drives, his Sierra will be lower than his expected fielding independent pitching. Do you want to see the formula?
So we make numbers.
Here. I'm going to, in the YouTube chat, I just posted the formula. I'm serious. That's just, hold on, let me make it better. There you go. Oh, it goes again. That is the formula on the YouTube chat. Punch that in your calculator. Here, I'll do all too, so you guys can see it on all the platforms.
Well, no, I just put it up on the stream so everyone could see it.
There you go. Well, like the Facebook people are going to be like, "What is this?"
I just.
My friend actually just sent me the form at the same time too.
I don't understand.
So in order to calculate somebody's Sierra, 6.145 minus 16.986 times strikeout per plate appearance plus 11.434 times walk per plate appearance minus 1.858 San Diego area code multiplied by ground ball minus fly ball minus put out divided by plate appearance plus I can't even go through all of that.
You know what it sounds like we're doing here? We are
math.
We are creating, maths obviously. We're creating formulas to create statistics to make it to where the other formulas and other statistics that we created don't matter.
So my buddy Ron, he sends the formula because I was texted about skill interactive earned run average. He sends the formula like we just sent. And he goes, "Yeah, I'm good. Just give me Yamamoto. He'll throw every day until his arm falls off. I don't have time to do the calculation on that."
I mean, fair play.
He's a Dodgers fan. He's like, you know what? I don't need to be doing this.
Yamamoto, good.
All right. So if you want, take a Sierra.
I'm not.
Plug that into your calculator. Let's see if his metrics are good.
To.
And then, the thing is, you got to do it for everybody in Major League Baseball, then compare them, see what percentile they're in. We'll leave that job for Saris.
Stop being nerds.
What's Zach Gallen's Sierra?
It's probably his dog. I don't know.
You know what? You can probably plug that into ChatGPT.
Have fun. I'm going to move on. Kazuma Okamoto.
All right, so we're out on Zach Gallen. We don't like his Sierra enough. We calculated his Sierra. It's not great. This is too much, man. This is why baseball traditionalists and players don't like analytics for those reasons right there. That's on MLB.com. Skill interactive earn run average, the definition, and that's the formula that somebody came up with.
We just gave you a recurring segment with Elo. Have him look at the Sierra formula and not have him
explode.
See how red he gets, and we'll put it on a measured bar.
Hey, Chris, who, by the way, got to play college baseball. Great career. His career might have been extended if he knew his own Sierra.
Might have been.
I like telling that to my buddy Mike all the time, who pitched at Irvine. Hey, you know what? Because he hates all these advanced stats. He's like, not a single baseball player, one, pays attention to this, or two, gives a bleep. And I was like, hey, man, if you gave a bleep about your Sierra, you'd probably still be pitching right now. That's why your teammates Andre Palante still playing. He calculates his Sierra.
And that's why you're really fast, because after that, he ran at you with a bat. Now I understand why Braden is so quick. Kazuma Okamoto, by the way, first or third baseman. He's 29 years old, coming over from the MPB. Elite bat from Japan with on-base percentage, skills, and plus power. Missed time in 2025 with an elbow injury, but remains highly sought after. Plays both corners, but most scouts see him as a first baseman. Best fits the Red Sox, the Diamondbacks, the Pirates, the Rockies.
They're trying. Josh Burns gonna go make it happen, dude.
The Nationals, the Mets, and the Padres.
I'd be down. Although the elbow injury is a little bit of a question mark. But the thing is, it's like if he plays first base and like he's a DH at age 29, the elbow injury is that big. He's not pitching. Do we count what?
Do we count FIP plus B WAR divided by Sierra for MPB guys too?
Stop it.
Well, no, I mean that's going to be the next one, is it not?
No, well, maybe, but
he's a
position player, so I don't really care about the
advanced
analytics.
I'm sorry. You have to. I'm sorry.
You
have to. That makes the argument.
Does Fangraphs, which I do like to use, do they have a prediction for what this guy's going to sign for? Let's find out. He's from the MPB, right?
Yes, he is. I still have no clue how to navigate Fangraphs. I have it on here. It's Spotrac is so much easier.
Fangraphs is great. I love Fangraphs.
I'm not denying it.
Are you a B-War guy then? I don't know if we can have you on the show if you're a B-War guy. We're a Fangraph show. All right, I've overplayed this bit. He doesn't have a prediction on there. I mean, if it's affordable, I'm down. Sounds good.
Ha-Seong Kim is the next person on the list. Plays every infield position except for first base. Starred for the Padres in 2023 before shoulder injury derailed 2024 and 2025. Healthy again and is drawing strong interest for his elite defense and versatility. Top fits are the Brewers and the Braves. A Braves reunion is viewed as the, quote, cleanest outcome. Why, did he say something bad about the Brewers at some point?
I get.
It's the cleanest outcome.
It's probably the easiest since he was already there most recently.
It's the easiest.
I guess the cleanest outcome.
Go Aztecs.
Those contracts get messy over there in Milwaukee.
Waiting for X War from Go Aztecs.
Expected war.
There's a joke there that I'm not going to make. Nick Martinez.
There we go.
Is the guy that you were alluding to before. 35 years old, benefited from Cincinnati's qualifying offer last year, now seeking a multi-year deal despite likely dropping in AAV. Valuable as a swingman, innings eater, and a clubhouse presence. Potential fits the Giants, Mets, Bravos, and the Padres.
I'd love to have Nick Martinez back. I know he's 35 years old, but he's that swing guy that could do a couple of things, and the Padres could really use some swing guys.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't give him $20 million a year.
Preferably a power swing guy.
He's seeking a multi-year deal despite likely drop in AAV. I mean, if the drop is there, then I think it'd be a great reunion. Plus, he did well when he was a San Diego Padre. Last guy on the list is Max Scherzer. I'm not really interested in that. He's getting paid by so many teams right now with all the deferred money, but I don't really need Max Scherzer.
Why sign and get paid by one team when you can sign and get paid by 5 teams?
Yeah. All right, let's talk about this guy.
It's got to make doing your taxes hell.
He's got an accountant for that.
You're getting paid well, that doesn't make it easier. It doesn't make it easier for the accountant. You're getting paid in New York, Washington, D.C., now Toronto.
Yeah, but you get paid. It's where you get
fifth 1 year.
Well, I don't know about the deferred money because usually it's where you do the work.
Yeah, which means he's got to file taxes in 3 different states and 2 different countries.
Every Major League Baseball player has to do that.
If they get traded.
No, like the road games. You have to file taxes in all those states you play in. You didn't know that?
No, I did not know that.
That's why teams don't like signing even if you sign with the Texas Rangers, there's no state income tax. You still have the Angels in your division that when you have to go play them however many times, you got to pay California taxes when you play the Angels. You didn't know that? Yeah, it's where the work is completed.
I genuinely did not know that. No.
Yeah, that's why players like signing in certain divisions. They're like, oh, we got multiple no state income tax. It's great. Yeah, it's where you get the work done. So like, you play for the Padres, you got to pay. You have 81 games in San Diego, plus you have the however many games you have to play now in LA, and the games you got to play in San Francisco. I mean, most of the time you're playing in the state of California. It probably makes it a lot easier.
Poor Seattle.
Yeah. Seattle. Mariners have to pay in. Well, you know what? At least the Vegas now instead of.
Poor Milwaukee.
Uh-oh. The tax segment coming in. Let's talk about Aztec football for a second. We have a little bit of time before we got to get the break. And then we'll dive into. I curse
MLB when they schedule teams overseas because I don't care about waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning to watch a game.
I don't know how the international stuff works when it comes to taxes. When it comes to like outside of Canada, I don't know. That's why these guys all have accountants. Like I could physically do my own taxes because it's not super crazy. Their taxes are very complex. Plus, they're making tons of money. So, anyway, I digress. All right, Aztec football. Where do they go from here? Sounds like they might be going to the Idaho Potato Bowl. What could have been after San Diego State's 23-17 double overtime loss to New Mexico. Sean Lewis openly wrestled with the missed opportunity. The loss knocked San Diego State out of the Mountain West title game despite a four-way tie for first between the Aztecs, Boise State, UNLV, and New Mexico. Lewis admitted the loss left him wondering what more could I have done and emphasized that this moment will leave a scar for players and coaches. Absolutely. He frames it as a major life lesson, sees control when your destiny is in your hands. 100%. And they'll learn that, unfortunately, the hard way. The good news is they really overcame what was a terrible year last year and put together a really good season. With all four teams tied, the league used the computer metrics to determine the two teams in the championship, which is the Broncos of Boise State and UNLV. Aztecs went 9-3, flipping to last year's 3-9 record. Lewis said he's most proud of the team's resiliency, growth, and toughness, even more than the wins. As things project, team will have a lighter week this week. No practices yet. That was from a couple of days ago. Weight room optional sessions, training room, open recovery, classroom time as finals approach. Bowl assignment will be on Sunday, and once known, San Diego State will build their practice schedule around finals and holidays. Nice little off day for San Diego State. That's basically it. We'll see how many opt-outs that they get. Across college football, some programs lose up to 20-plus players before a bowl due to NFL draft prep, transfer portal readiness. We'll see how many schools participate in that. All right. We do have an announcement on Sunday for the Holiday Bowl, too, which I'm sure we're going to work on previewing that. There's a lot of stuff to do with the Holiday Bowl.
That's the quickest I think we've ever gotten a guest. It took 27 seconds. So we will have Mark Neville on at noon on Monday.
To talk about the matchup.
Yes.
That's going to be great. A Pac-12, former Pac-12 school and ACC school. I think it's the last year of this as well. I don't know anything, but I could see a lot of there's a lot of good potential opponents or matchups for the Holiday Bowl. We'll talk about that on Monday. But when we come back, it's time to dive into some of the signings that some of the local kids had, plus more drama out of the Lane Kiffin situation. Braden Surprenant Show continues in the noon hour. San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. This holiday season, too many San Diegans will go hungry. Join 97 to the Fan and support the San Diego Food Bank. Donate food directly online through our Odyssey San Diego Food Fund, where every donation helps feed local families. Go to 97tothefansd.com/food fund and give today. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Yesterday was signing day. We talked a little bit about the Aztecs and the class that they had. But again, this is more for a day for the local kids and their families being able to say that they have made it to college athletics. And we have had a lot of great players here in San Diego sign a lot of big-time schools yesterday. NCAA early signing period in San Diego delivered a very chaotic, flip-heavy day in recent memory. John Maffei has a full article on this in the San Diego Union-Tribune. A lot of quarterbacks changed commitments, major prospects jumped conferences, and some of the county's biggest names stunned their original schools. Headline flip. Carlsbad's linebacker Rocky Cummings flipped from Cal to Texas. Biggest shock of the day came when Carlsbad star linebacker Rocky Cummings flipped his commitment to from Cal to Texas, immediately becoming one of the crown jewels of the Longhorns recruiting class. He's 6'4", 225 pounds. He said a visit to Austin sealed the deal for him. Ultimately, a quote from Cummings, "I want to win a championship, and we could do that at Texas." I think Cal's going to be all right, though. I think Cal's going to be all right in the grand scheme of things. It seems like they're spending some money on some stuff and want to be good in college football, making a commitment to college football. But Rocky Cummings goes to Texas. Texas head coach Steve Sarkisian praised Cummings' length, versatility, late senior year surge, saying he can play both off ball and on the edge. He's a graduate early and will join the Longhorns for spring ball. He had 33 tackles, 5 for loss, 2.5 sacks, 10 quarterback hurries, 8 receiving touchdowns as a tight end. And he was the only guy that flipped. I mean, the quarterbacks in town, there was a lot of them. 4 signed yesterday. All of them flipped from their original commitment. Troy Hune of Mission Hills flipped from Penn State to Virginia Tech, which made a lot of sense because James Franklin, who was the head coach at Penn State, is now the head coach at Virginia Tech. Cash Herrera, the Bishop's quarterback, flipped from Indiana to Boise State. Brady Palmer, Cathedral Catholic's quarterback, flipped from Cal to Minnesota. And Vincent Smith at St. Augustine was expected to stay home at USD and play quarterback for the Toreros. Instead, he is now flipped to Pennsylvania. He'll be at UPenn. Combine all of that with some early signings by Lee Norman Lester out of Helix. He went to Southern Utah. Eli McNeil, the Carlsbad quarterback, signs with Cornell. San Diego produced 6 signing day quarterbacks, a depth unmatched in recent years. Longtime coach at Carlsbad High School, Thad McNeil, said, "I've never seen a quarterback group this deep or this talented." San Diego produced 6 quarterbacks in this year's signing class, and a lot of them going to big-time schools. 2 Power 4 schools, a couple of Group of 5 schools, and then a couple Ivy League schools. Or sorry, 1 Group of 5, a couple Ivy League, and a very important FCS school is going to be now in the Big Sky in Southern Utah. Other major San Diego signings, Carlsbad had 3 players signed: Nathan Allen, Chase Harris, and Eli McNeil. As mentioned before, Nathan Allen's going to Arizona. Chase Harris is going to Carnegie Mellon. Mount Miguel leads all schools with 7 signees, including 5-star defensive back Brandon Arrington. He signed with Texas A&M yesterday. Frank Fanua signed with Cal. Cathedral had 5 signees. Brady Palmer goes to Minnesota. Chase Denise, the offensive lineman from Cathedral, who is the son of the softball head coach at San Diego State. Chase goes to USC. Bronx Latuli-Gasanoa signs with San Jose State. Sebastian Tucker, the tight end, signs with Davidson. And linebacker Cade Smith signs with the University of San Diego at USD. Oceanside had a big moment yesterday. Edge rusher Easy Tokyo signed with Washington, calling it an emotional moment and saying the Huskies want him as a stand-up linebacker. He was supported by childhood friends Brady Palmer and Honor Falave Johnson, who are 2 Cathedral Catholic players. Service Academy, we had a handful of players sign with service academies, 3 local military academies, or 3 locals choose military academies. Justin Lee of La Costa Canyon is going to Air Force. Atticus Enriquez of Mount Carmel is going to Air Force. And Keimani Nua at Oceanside is going to Army. Nua cited Oceanside's deep history of sending players to West Point. Overall theme, San Diego early signing period showcase massive flips in decisions, rising recruiting reputation for the county, a historically deep quarterback class, and a lot of big-time programs coming in and grabbing San Diego products. San Diego kind of becoming a national quarterback factory. SEC, Big 10, ACC, Big 12, all pulling talent out of San Diego. The impact of college coaching changes have impacted the local recruits here in town, and the early enrollment trend continues. Multiple kids are graduating early to join their schools for spring ball. There's a lot of great recruits there. San Diego, nice little showing yesterday, Frank.
Yeah, absolutely. Congratulations to all those kids and all the families that signed yesterday, and good luck as you begin your college careers.
Yeah, and it's good. I mean, it's good seeing some big time schools on that list. And now San Diego State, this is a hotbed for local talent. We didn't have any of the local signing, or not too many of them, signed with San Diego State. I know Purnell from Lincoln side with San Diego State. It's a good local ad. But a lot of these players, it's kind of hard for San Diego State to grab anyway. I mean, they're not going to be able to get some of these quarterbacks that are going to Big 10 schools, ACC schools. You know, they can't get the tight end. It's going to Texas. It's hard to compete with some of those. But it shows just how much talent we have here in San Diego. And a big congratulations to all of them and their families. If you want to see the full list, John Maffey put it out in the San Diego Union Tribune of all the players that signed throughout San Diego. Again, a lot of big-time names signing schools. Mount Miguel, 7 signees yesterday. Cathedral had 5. Carlsbad had 3 or 4. Oceanside with a couple of big signings as well. But overall, good day for a lot of local products. Now, this is the early signing period. There's still another one later, I think in February. I just too many to keep track of. But that's why, as the czar of college football, or the commissioner of college football, Frank, we made all those changes yesterday.
Yeah, exactly.
I did run that through ChatGPT yesterday on the college football proposal to finalize some of the dates and stuff. Man, that thing is, I put in all the rules and it pulled all the schools that I expected them to pull from. It's pretty remarkable.
Did you have you seen what AI is ready for now?
No.
They're ready to start putting ads in ChatGPT responses.
Nice.
So as I saw, one Twitter comment said, when the 5th grade teacher is reading the worst report on World War II of their lives,
an ad in the middle of it,
they're going to be talking about NordVPN and Clash of Clans out of nowhere.
Oh, man. We cannot, I mean, we just have to find ads everywhere, huh?
Yeah, of course.
How about so Red Zone over the weekend aired the most commercials it's ever aired. Remember when they, ESPN's, they're like, oh, we're going to air commercials. People flipped out, and then everyone's like, oh, it's just going to be 1 or 2. First week, they had only a minute total of commercials. This last week, it's up to 5. It's it's just going to slowly build. And then you're going to be sitting there going why am I paying for this again?
Mm-hmm.
That was like Sirius XM radio for a long time. They're like, oh, no ads. And now it's all ads, and you still got to pay for it. We're going to have ads now. I'm surprised they haven't made a football field like a giant Hershey bar.
You saw anyone who went on Saturday saw that they plaster the wrestling rings with ads now. That wasn't so uncommon, especially for WCW, but for WWE never did it. And now it's all over the place.
Go Aztecs in the chat, smart with this decision. But this is the deal. If you're San Diego State, these are all the kids. I totally forgot about this, but all the players that we just mentioned, right? Rocky Cummings and Brady Palmer and, Sebastian Tucker and Bronx Atuli Gasanoa, Eli McNeil, Nathan. I mean, all these players that are signed, Troy Hune, and all these players signing with some big schools, Brandon Arrington. I don't think Brandon Arrington would come back to San Diego State, but all of those players you should have a relationship with if you're San Diego State, just in case it doesn't work at their school and you can grab back in the portal. They've already done that with a lot of local talent, which has been great. But those are the players you have to stay in contact with. Let them sign with the big schools. And if they don't have playing time there or things don't work out with the transfer portal now, you are still not out on these kids for potentially impacting your program. So I'd like to see, hopefully, Sean Lewis and company stay poised on that. And I think they do. I think they will do that. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. All aboard the Lane train.
It's coming back through the station, baby.
Coming back to the station. Frank cannot let this thing go. He's got more info on it. You put it on the sheet today.
I put it on the sheet because I knew you were most likely going to talk about it no matter what.
What's new on the Lane train? Just keeps adding and adding and adding. The tea continues as the show continues. Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97 through the Fan. This hour 97 through the fans brought to you by Mission Fed. From first accounts to big life moments, Mission Fed can help. Saving shouldn't be stressful. Mission Fed makes it easier with great rates on savings certificates and ultra money market accounts. Grow your money the smart way. Check the latest rates and open an account at missionfed.com. Membership and account criteria apply. Oh boy, the Lane train. There's just more and more stories on this, huh? More and more. By the way, we need a contestant for a midday sports standoff. So while we're taking you on another journey on the Lane train, which is great, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. If you can take me down some sports trivia today, hopefully the answers are not screwed up, you'd be qualified for a shot at our grand prize. 2 tickets to New Kids on the Block in Las Vegas on June 26th. A 2-night stay at Park MGM and a $100 gas card. Calling all blockheads. New Kids on the Block just announced 2026 dates for their The Right Stuff Las Vegas residency at Dolby Live at Park MGM. Don't miss all your favorite hits live in Vegas with New Kids on the Block February to October 2026. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. All right. Staying aboard the Lane train. Here's, the more of the details, but there's some interesting timeline of events that we need to get to. The central conflict, of course, with this particular case is Ole Miss athletic director Keith Carter publicly pushing back against several claims made by former Rebels head coach Lane Kiffin regarding the circumstances of his departure for LSU and his postseason coaching eligibility. We've already seen the BS natural response press release that Lane Kiffin put out. Here are the key disputed points, according to athletic director Keith Carter of Ole Miss. Timing of postseason coaching decision. In Kiffin's claim, he said he only learned early Sunday that he would not be allowed to coach Ole Miss in the college football playoff. Athletic director Keith Carter said, Ole Miss told Lane Kiffin and his representatives several weeks ago that he could not coach in the postseason if he took another job. The only potential exception was the SEC title game, and even then, Carter had not decided whether Kiffin would have been allowed to coach. Here's your timeline of events. Around 6 o'clock over the weekend, Kiffin informed Keith Carter he was leaving for LSU. That's on Saturday. Saturday night, Carter and Ole Miss officials worked late into the night restructuring staffing plans. They immediately targeted defensive coordinator Pete Golding, who was officially hired Sunday as the new head coach. On Sunday, Kiffin announced his departure. He claimed players asked him to remain and coach the college football playoff games. That's disputed too. According to Lane Kiffin's version of this particular instance, he said Ole Miss players wanted him to stay through the postseason in order to maximize the team's performance. According to athletic director Keith Carter, because this is a major he said, she said situation. Keith Carter says Kiffin's portrayal is not accurate. He emphasized there was significant pushback from players. Begging him to stay is a major overstatement. Ole Miss players are starting to show what really happened. The players' reactions. Have you seen these guys? Have you guys seen the players' reactions on TikTok or throughout social media? Some of them impersonating Lane Kiffin. Hilarious. Multiple players publicly disputed Kiffin's remarks. Star linebacker Suntarine Perkins directly contradicted Kiffin's statement, saying, quote, "That was not the message you said in the meeting room," when talking about Lane Kiffin's comments. The other thing, too, is Charlie Weiss Jr. was on that plane to Baton Rouge. He wasn't going to coach, right? It was a whole situation. You got to leave. If you want to come with me now, you got to leave now. Well, Kiffin allowed Charlie Weiss Jr., who initially followed him to LSU, to rejoin Ole Miss to call plays in the college football playoff. According to athletic director Carter, he said Ole Miss has been in constant communication with Weiss about returning. He believes Weiss was placed in a difficult situation when asked to follow Kiffin, and expressed excitement about having Weiss back. Carter suggests Kiffin's public narrative contains multiple inaccuracies. Ole Miss maintains that Kiffin knew well in advance he would not coach the postseason once he accepted LSU's job, mischaracterized the players' reaction to his departure, and the program moved quickly to stabilize leadership, hiring Pete Golding and bringing back Charlie Weiss Jr. Well, at least they have somebody to run the offense now for Ole Miss. Something that was in this article is very interesting, and another big reason why you couldn't let Lane Kiffin coach these games. The school and Ole Miss officials had determined that they wanted to avoid their historic playoff run to become a month-long infomercial for LSU's next coach. They also didn't want Kiffin coaching their players once he left. Transfer portal opens January 2nd. It would have given Kiffin more time to potentially recruit the Rebels' best players. Lane Kiffin. We asked this question a couple of days ago. Is he the biggest villain in college football, Frank?
Easily.
He was easily the biggest villain on Monday, and now he is. That point is getting proven the more and more information comes out. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. You got a Lane Kiffin question today?
I do not. We're sticking with football. We're sticking with the NFL, but we do not have. It's not a Lane Kiffin question, though.
Let's get to our midday sports standoff.
Welcome to Midday Sports Standoff on the Braden Surprenant Show.
I can't believe what I'm seeing right now.
The ultimate head-to-head battle where sports knowledge and quick thinking collide.
No, he's no good. Are you kidding me, Miss?
Contestants will go toe-to-toe with Braden in a sports trivia deal where every correct answer brings them closer to victory.
Down the sideline! Wow! Unbelievable!
But 3 strikes and it's game over.
This is not Detroit, man. This is the Super Bowl.
Can you outsmart Braden? The Midday Sports Standoff starts now.
Adam Klug in the chat. Kiffin, the biggest villain in college football. He's probably the biggest villain in sports right now. That's hard. It's hard to argue with that.
Yeah, no, you can't fight that one.
Is there going to be anybody cheering for Lane at LSU that's not
an attendee.
LSU fan? Probably not. I can't wait for that schedule to come out. Circle it. All right, who we got playing today?
We have Cameron in San Marcos playing today. Cameron, how are you doing today?
What's going on, Cameron?
Doing good. You know, I think John Morant would root for Lane Kiffin in this case.
Well, there you go. So today's topic, again, we're sticking with the NFL. We're sticking with quarterbacks. No time frame on this one. Active quarterbacks, starters or bench, active quarterbacks with the most playoff wins. Top 10 we're looking for. I will give you a hint. The lowest number of wins on this list is 5.
5. So this list has
5,
at least 5 playoff wins.
5 or more active players with 5 or more playoff wins active. They could be starters. They could be backups. Cameron, you are first.
Wait and check with Frank to make sure
Mahomes.
Go ahead, Cameron.
Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes, yes.
At least 5 playoff wins, right?
Yes.
Joe Flacco.
Joe Flacco, correct.
How many of these are there?
There are 10.
10.
Cameron?
Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson does not have 5 yet.
I'm going on a limb here just because he made it to the Super Bowl very early. Joe Burrow. He's got to have at least 5.
Joe Burrow does. Cameron.
Hurts Donut.
Who?
Jalen Hurts.
Yes.
Yes, that's a good one.
I think you said Hurts Donuts, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
All right, go ahead,
Yeah.
Braden.
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen, correct.
Said it enough times.
Cameron.
Brock Purdy.
Oh.
No, not Brock Purdy.
Matt Stafford.
Matt Stafford, correct.
Man, you're good at this, Braden. Dude.
Again, they're not.
Jordan Love.
No,
Like
not
two.
Jordan Love. And that is 3 strikes, Cameron. I'm sorry.
How many are we missing?
We have 2, 4, 5, 6. So 4. We're missing 4. Just about to say they don't have to be starters right now. They just have to be active in the National Football League.
Aaron Rodgers has to be on there.
Yes, Aaron Rodgers is on there.
Where's my ding?
For God's sake.
Okay. How many more of them are not starters now? Oh, like Russell Wilson's got to be on there.
Russell Wilson is on there.
Okay, how many more do we need?
We have 2.
2 left.
One's a starter, one is not.
There's no way. The Red Rifle? Andy Dalton playing enough playoff games? No.
Nope.
Who else we got?
Already said Flacco in the chat, Nate.
1 backup and 1 starter. There's got to be some backup that you forget plays
He
quarterback.
was a
in the
starter.
NFL.
He was a big-time starter. A big-time starting prospect when he came in.
Starting prospect.
Started for a couple years, played on some good teams. People thought he was going to be great.
Well, I mean, that could be like 15 of these guys.
Not Baker Mayfield, Adam. Not Deshaun Watson.
It's not Geno Smith because he's actually starting.
Nope.
Sam Darnold's starting too. Oh, what about no? I mean, he could be, but I just feel like he missed most of the playoffs when he was playing. Carson Wentz. No. I don't think Kirk Cousins has played enough.
Manny L in the chat got the starter.
Oh, Jared Goff.
Yes, Jared Goff.
And then the non-starter. Huh.
On the Rams right now.
Oh, he's the backup of the Rams? He's the backup for the Rams.
He was supposed to be the heir apparent in New England.
Oh, is that Jimmy Garoppolo? Jimmy Garoppolo. I never would have guessed. Jimmy Garoppolo. All right, full list.
That is the full list. Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers, Joe Flacco, Jalen Hurts, Jared Goff, Russell Wilson, Joe Burrow, Matthew Stafford, and Jimmy Garoppolo.
Good list. I have no qualms today
Thank you.
because he said starters or backups. Padres did make a signing today, by the way. I did get that notification. Do you want me to?
I mean, we have a minute and a half.
Pitcher Ty Adcock. 1-year contract.
Said the Padres made a signing.
I did.
Yes. Ty Adcock, congratulations.
Ty
Welcome to the
Adcock,
team.
welcome to San Diego. We will.
Happy birthday, Joe Musgrove, by the way.
It is Joe Musgrove's birthday today. Happy birthday, Joe Musgrove. I saw his Instagram story. They had a feast at Cicerina? Cicerina? Is that where they went last night? Forget the name of that place. It's a good spot, though. Ty Adcock is the new starting pitcher, or new pitcher for the Padres. Just got the sign. We will talk about Ty Adcock. And well, actually, Skyler's coming in. Let's talk about Ty Adcock real quick. He is a Met. Was a Met this year. Threw 3 innings for the Mets this year.
I was going to say, what?
Threw 4 1/3 innings for the Mets last year in 2024 and was a Seattle Mariner in 2023.
Great guy. Great pitcher.
Bullpen guy, I think. I'm assuming.
He
is a bullpen guy.
He'll be an up and down, I'm sure. If he'll probably I'm assuming he's going to fill the role of Sean Reynolds, where he's going to be, if someone goes down, he'll be the first one up. That would be my guess.
Born in Oxford, North Carolina, drafted by the Mariners in the 8th round in 2019. Went to Elon University. Debuted June 12th, 2023. Career numbers, he has a career 5.48 ERA. He's pitched 18 big league ball games. There you go. Frank's distracted by the dog.
Angie's here again.
We will get you the college picks with Skyler. The queen comes back when we finish up our final hour. on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97 The Fan. What is this, Sierra?
Angie back.
But I'm like, okay, Denver or Chicago, they're both cold. They must have to get used to it. Yeah.
My mom went to U.S. Terror. They had a Carroll Canyon down to training.
They had training here? I'm shocked that they had it here because I feel like they try to do it in like cheaper, areas where they could have like a lot of space. Like American does all their training in Dallas.
Oh yeah, they're fun.
Yeah.
All right. All guests of 97th fan join us on the David P. Shapiro fan hotline. David P. Shapiro, criminal defense attorneys, helping good people regain control of their future when charged with the crime since 2010. Everybody we had your a YouTube chat got to hear your pilot stories because the mic was on the on the YouTube. So the YouTube people got to hear about it. But joining us now is the queen of college football, Skyler, who is working on becoming a pilot. We talked about that before. And her brother is about ready to start flying some big planes, which is kind of cool. So congratulations to Cameron on that. You were saying he's going to Denver to do more training?
Yeah, he's going to Denver and then to Salt Lake City for 3 months of training.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And I'm going to go visit and go snowboarding.
Going to make it better for yourself. Then.
Exactly.
Absolutely. So we got to make our college picks. We have Angie's running around.
She's very distracting.
Chemo's dog.
In a good way.
Right. And we're going to talk some of the college football championship games. It's such a spicy game.
It's always a happy day at work when Chemo brings Angie.
I know. I could tell.
Awesome.
You forgot to put Skyler's camera on, and then you had that thing, and then this thing, and then the hot mics over the YouTube.
We're just a mess today.
The pot was down. All the pots were down.
It's the mic and the camera.
Oh, okay.
That's why YouTube got to hear
Wonderful.
Skyler's wonderful plane conversation.
It's a good thing I didn't say anything bad like
That's
normal.
right.
No, I'm just kidding.
That's why you always know that the mics are on.
Yeah.
We got to get to today's biggest fan, though.
Yes, we do.
Today's biggest fan, and when we go to break, we're giving away Zach Bryan tickets. But today's biggest fan, John Nochta in Lakeside. Nochta. John Nochta in Lakeside. Give us a call within the next 10 minutes at 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973, and you'll qualify for a grand prize, 20 tickets for you and your friends for a night in our Odyssey Suite at a Padres game with all of the fan staff later this season. Catered by Spiro's Mediterranean Cuisine. Remember to register your name at 97throughthefantasy.com/biggest fan. John Nochta in Lakeside. You are today's biggest fan. I like seeing the people freak out in the chat when it's not their name. Guess what? It's Nochta, you guys in the chat. It's John Nochta today.
Really? That's how we're doing that?
Yep.
My gosh.
I had to set it up for that, dude. Sorry about it. If you're just tuning in, Padres made a sign today. Looks like a big upside arm for the San Diego Padres in their deal with Ty Adcock, new pitcher for the San Diego Padres, bullpen arm. We'll have more information on that as the afternoon rolls on. But we have 9 conference games to pick in the conference championship weekend. It's time to get to our college football picks.
Bear with me here for a moment as I get the schedule for these games up because I did not have I had written this and had not put the spreads on it. So bear with me as I figure out the spreads here. But the first game is going to be for Conference USA, the 9-3 Kennesaw State Owls taking on the 8-4 Jacksonville State Gamecocks. This game is going to be played at
Kennesaw State's
Jacksonville
fair
State.
by 2.5.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Who do you got? Skyler, your first pick.
I think Kennesaw State, they're trying to avenge a previous loss earlier this season to Jacksonville State. So I think that they'll be able to pull it off this time. So I've got Kennesaw State.
Jacksonville State is the only team in this league whose run game never fluctuates. They ran for 252 yards on 42 carries the first time these two teams met, and none of it was random. Kennesaw's tackling and rush defense remain bottom tier, and nothing about their profile suggests they can hold up. I'm going to take Jacksonville State in this game.
I am going to. I've had so much love for Kennesaw State,
and so did the bettors, because this line opened up at 1.5 in favor for Jacksonville State, and a lot of money's going to the other side.
I am going Kennesaw State in this game. I can't bail on them now.
Big bet to make in this game, by the way, according to ESPN.com, is Jacksonville State team total over 28.5. Take that.
Well, there you go.
Betting. I'm telling people to take that, not take that, Frank.
Up next, this will be for the Sun Belt.
The Fun Belt.
Yeah, it's
the Fun Belt.
It sounds like it's going to be very, very fun for one of the sides. Yes. As the 8-4 Troy Trojans take on the number 25, first time they've ever been ranked in the top 25, 11-1 James Madison Dukes. Dukes are favored by a small margin. It's only 23.5. Braden?
That's kind of the line that the ESPN thought. They said take James Madison at 22.5. 23.5 is probably what the actual game is going to be. So that might be a break-even point for a lot of people. But I'm going to take James Madison minus 23.5. This is a game for style points to try to get in the college football playoff. Wood chipper matchup for Troy. This is James Madison. Their defense is elite across the board. They're top 10 in rush defense, top 20 in tackling, number 1 in defensive coverage. Troy's offense, 100% efficiency based, not very explosive, and has the worst possible profile against the defense built to suffocate and erase long drives. I will take James Madison in a rout. Even if James Madison puts up 40, Troy still gets squeezed. The under team total is the cleanest angle to play, by the way. Bet Troy under, take James Madison minus 23.5.
Skyler?
Yeah, I mean, the spread is huge, but James Madison, everyone's been talking about them. They're clearly the stronger team. I think the only thing that might shake things up a little bit, the distractions they have with their head coach potentially leaving. There's some rumors, but I don't think that's going to be a problem for them. So I think I've got to go with James Madison also.
I notoriously do not take big spreads, so I will not do that. I'm taking Troy. James Madison's going to win the game easily, but it's not going to be 23.5. AAC championship game. Sorry, American. 11-1 North Texas, ranked number 24, taking on the number 20 Tulane Green Wave. They are 10-2. Right now, it is North Texas favored by 2.5. Skyler.
Both these teams are like my nemesis all season long. I feel like I pick Tulane and North Texas wrong. So I kind of feel like whatever I do is probably going to be the opposite. I do feel like North Texas has the slight edge here, so I'm going to lean that way for here.
North Texas, the thing about this game, and I'm going to take North Texas, but North Texas, the one thing that's stable in this game is their offense has been automatic. They lead the American Conference in touchdowns, points per play, and yards per play. Tulane's tackling coverage and red zone inconsistencies are exactly what North Texas punishes. So why not UNT minus 2.5? I'll take North Texas. They also are saying bet the team total over 34.5 for North Texas in this game. North Texas is going to score a lot of points, and they're going to cover the 2.5.
I'm going to take Tulane. I would assume it's going to be like a late walk-off field goal or something like that, but I believe Tulane is going to take the win here. Then on final game, Mountain West Championship game will be the 10-2 UNLV Rebels versus the 8-4 Boise State Broncos. Broncos favored by 5.5. Braden.
I'll take Boise State. Maddox Madsen is back. Boise State finally has their identity back. They can throw the ball downfield now. They have explosive running backs, as we've seen. Their yards after contact offense is really good. And by the way, UNLV's defensive metrics are a disaster. 110th in rush defense, 73rd in tackling, 64th in their coverage. UNLV allows scores from outside the red zone because they bust so many plays. That's exactly what Boise State's looking for. I'll take Boise State to cover the 4 points.
Skyler?
Yeah, I got Boise State at home also. I think that throughout the season, they've just been a little bit more reliable. The Rebels have really been up and down all season long. I think they're going to go in and struggle against Boise. So I got Boise.
I'm going to take Boise State as well. Now on to Saturday. The Big 12 championship game will be number 11 BYU at 11-1, coming in against Texas Tech. Number 4 Texas Tech, also at 11-1. Skyler, right now, Texas Tech favored by 12.5 in this game.
Yeah, I think Texas Tech definitely has the advantage. I think that they're going to be able to come in and win here, but I don't know if they're going to be able to do it against 12.5. I think BYU is looking to make a statement, so I think they'll be able to keep this one close. So I got Texas Tech winning, but I'm going to take BYU for the points.
Second time these two teams are playing each other. Texas Tech destroyed BYU in Lubbock, but they ain't playing in Lubbock. I will say this, though. For the Dallas-Fort Worth area, has got a lot of Texas Tech alumni. This game is sold out at Jerry's World, so it should be a fun one. I still think Texas Tech's going to cover because they're pretty good. BYU's offensive identity, very slow, run-heavy, allergic to passing down. It's the worst possible matchup against Tech in a defense that ranks number 1 in pass rush, number 1 in coverage, and number 2 in tackling. In the first matchup, once the game got unstable, the pass-dependent BYU completely shut down. Unless Texas Tech turns the ball over a ton, BYU almost has no path to score like 18 points, which is what they would need in order to cover. I would take BYU's total under 17.5, and I would also take Texas Tech minus 13.5. Or 12.5. What is it, 13.5? 12.5.
It's hard to beat teams twice in one season. I believe Texas Tech will do it, but I believe BYU will learn from earlier mistakes this year. They will cover. They may not win, but they will cover.
If BYU wins, then they could potentially, definitely get 2 Big 12 teams in the tournament.
Yeah,
they should get 3 because Utah should be in there too. But I digress.
Now we get some Maction on Saturday.
Why is this game being played on a Tuesday?
Exactly right. It'll be the Miami Redhawks, the Miami of Ohio.
Yes,
Redhawks.
Yeah, we know the Miami Hurricanes would never make a championship game.
Coming in at 7-5, they will take on the Western Michigan Broncos, who are 8-4. Braden, I believe you're first on this one. Western Michigan favored by 2.5.
I'm going to take Miami of Ohio. They can win in multiple ways. Western Michigan cannot. When Western Michigan wins, they control the run and they run their scripted offense. When they lose, they run into problems early. So I'm going to go with Miami of Ohio.
Skyler?
I think Miami of Ohio, their quarterback left a couple weeks ago. I think he said to prep for the NFL or something weird. There's some weird stuff going on, I think, at quarterback there. So I think that might shake things up a little bit with their offense. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. So I think I'm going to go with Miami, but I think that it's going to be an interesting one there.
I am going to take Miami as well. All right, Skyler, we're going to wipe you off of this one here.
Did you guys see who's going to be at the game on Saturday? It's going to be on College Game. The College Game Day is at the SEC Championship, right?
So I've heard.
Do you know who's going to be there?
I don't think I've heard.
New LSU head coach Lane Kiffin's going to be on College
gosh,
Game Day on Saturday.
He is.
The Lane train continues.
Holy moly.
I love it. College Game Day just tweeted that out.
Can't get rid of him.
Lane's going to be there.
That's
Braden,
funny.
11-1, number 3, Georgia, taking on number 9, 10-2, Alabama. Who do you got?
I'll take Georgia.
Georgia's favored by 2.5.
I think it's going to be tough for Alabama to beat them twice. And the game is – I know they already went to Georgia and won one time, but they're going to have to go back to Georgia and win again.
Well, it's a
Georgia's defense, best
It's in
tackling
Atlanta.
unit.
Yeah.
It's a Georgia home game.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
not
no.
mince
You're right,
words
you're right,
here.
you're right.
They got a top 5 run defense. They force 10 to 12 play drives, best tackling unit in the country. I think they overcome the loss earlier to Alabama. I think they win.
Skyler, do we need to?
Yeah, I mean, I've been telling everybody all week how nervous I am for this game because, I mean, like you guys both have just mentioned, to beat a team twice in one season is so tough. But what makes me feel a little more confident, Kirby Smart's 1-7 as a head coach against Alabama. So I do think that we've got a chance. Alabama's coming in as an underdog, which I actually really like that for them. They've played a little sloppy in the last few weeks, though. If they can clean up their game, I think they've got a chance. So, of course, I have to go with Alabama.
I'll take the Alabama team total under 22.5 too, by the way.
Let's go to the next
Grind it
game.
out,
I'm taking Georgia here in this one. Sorry. Big Ten championship game. One of these two teams will be undefeated. The other one will get their first loss. Number 1, Ohio State versus the number 2, Indiana Hoosiers. Ohio State favored by 4 in this game. Skyler. No, Braden, you're first.
I'll take the Buckeyes. Indiana is elite on paper, but their offense falls apart against top defenses, against top 20 units. 20 points versus Iowa, 27 against Penn State, but only because of a miracle final drive in that game, if you remember correctly, in Happy Valley. Now they get Ohio State, which is a top 3 defense that kills pace, eliminates explosive plays. I'll take the Buckeyes. Signetti's good. He's a very arrogant coach, but until he knocks off somebody like the Buckeyes, it's going to be hard to say it.
Skyler?
Yeah, I agree. I don't think Indiana's done enough to kind of like back up being yes, they're undefeated, but I don't think when you put them next to a team like Ohio State, I think you're going to start to see more of their weaknesses. I'm excited. I think this weekend might expose them a little bit, so I'm actually kind of excited. I got to take Ohio State.
I am going to take Ohio State as well.
Indiana, by the way, needs 70 plays to hit their efficiency numbers this season. Ohio State drags everybody below 60 offensive plays. They're not going to be able to do it. I'll take Indiana team total under as well.
All right. So now, final game. This will be the ACC championship game. This is a great game to have as your nightcap. The 7-5.
I'm rooting for Duke so bad.
Duke Blue Devils versus the number 17 Virginia Cavaliers, who come in at 10-2. UVA favored by 4. Skyler?
I'm hoping that was some sarcasm because I am not excited for this game. I'm like, this is such a ridiculous game. Duke played Virginia already, played them so poorly.
Yeah,
I'm not excited for this at all. I've got Virginia, no questions.
I got Virginia too. I think they destroyed Duke, but I'm rooting for Duke in this game because that is chaos. Here's the deal. Like, in order for Duke to be able to do things, they have to deal with a Virginia team that's got better pass rush, better tackling, more consistent coverage, fewer red zone collapses. Duke requires a shootout to hide their defensive problems, and Virginia will not give them one. I will take the Cavaliers.
We pick with the mind, but the heart roots for the chaos. I'm taking Virginia in this one. Please, please, Duke, do one thing right and just win a game. Win a game, please. That's all you have to do. Cavs, though, get the pick. And that's our college football picks.
We'll talk more college football again tomorrow on the show, but I think I went with chalk most of the way except for Miami of Ohio. But I'm rooting for chaos on Saturday.
Yeah.
I'm rooting for absolute chaos.
It'd be interesting.
Just to make the committee have to
make it their lives harder.
Defend the BS that they continue to spew. Bruce Feldman had a great article on that, by the way. We'll talk about that tomorrow as well, about the nonsense that is the college football playoff committee. We fixed college football yesterday, Skyler. You weren't a part of it. We should probably invited you since you're the queen of college football.
You fixed it?
We fixed it. You're going to have to go back and listen
I'll
to
go
our
back and listen.
noon hour yesterday.
Okay.
Hour yesterday,
Noon.
the whole noon hour yesterday.
Yeah, we have a new plan in place to fix college football.
All right.
So we will.
I have to get up to speed.
Yeah, get up to speed, and then we'll have your thoughts next week.
Okay.
And then we'll pick the bowl games next week, right? We picking the bowl games next week? We can't pick the bowl games next week. We're out of town. We're going to the Army Navy game.
Right.
The week after. We can pick. We can have Skyler pick the Army Navy game.
I was going to say, should we pick? We're missing the one game because there was one game where it was like a last-second quarterback switch, and we didn't know, so we did scratch one game off the list. I think that Army Navy game could replace that.
Yeah, add it. We'll have Skyler come on and talk about the Army Navy game next week.
Cool.
We'll be live in Baltimore. She'll be here in studio.
I'll be holding down the fort.
That's right. When we come back, what were we going to get to? Oh, college basketball throughout the county, throughout San Diego. We got some of that to talk about. We also have the new signing for the San Diego Padres, and at 1:35, Eddie Brown will join us to get you everything you need to know with the fantasy football as we go to break. By the way, the biggest fan called in.
I saw that. I see him there.
As we go to break, it's time to give away the Zach Bryan ticket.
There it is.
Now, today's trivia question. I dropped it in the 11 o'clock hour. We had a Zach Bryan song, Bring Us Back from Break. What is the name of that Zach Bryan song? First one to call in and tell us the name of that Zach Bryan song that is part of our rotation and brought us back from break that I mentioned in the 11 o'clock hour. First one to call in and tell Frank what that song was will win tickets to Zach Bryan. 833-288-973, 833-288-973. We will do that as we go to break on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego Number One Sports Station 97.2 The Fan. All right. What do we get?
We didn't get anything. We gave away tickets.
I know. What do we got? Who won?
Miguel in City Heights.
Nice. Congrats to Miguel in City Heights. Anyway. All right. Oh, my God.
Calm it down. Relax,
There we go.
Relax.
Somebody's yelling at you for using the wrong speech.
It's called a joke, but
It's for fun.
I'm sorry. It's called an joke.
Oh, man. You're really going to trigger him. Come on, man. Don't be the English department. It's a joke. We don't actually speak like that.
Brother, we butcher sports enough. We don't. We may as well butcher everything else. We butcher sports, math. Why not add the English language to it?
Right, 100%. All right.
Fashion sense, I'm sure someone has a problem with.
We had we have the new pitcher, right?
Yes. Ty Adcock.
Throws a hard four-seam fastball. He had a 30% whiff rate in AAA. I mean, it's probably it's a low 1-year contract, bullpen arm, and see what you got. To me, like, I've never watched this guy pitch, so I couldn't tell you what's going on. But I will say this, Frank. There's been a lot of these guys that AJ Preller's hit on. There's some that he hasn't, but there's been a lot of guys that the AJ Preller's hit on. He could be another one of those arms that hits in the bullpen.
And like I said,
throws high 90s, like hard to not have him part of the equation. I mean, I know there's a lot of guys that do that now, but I don't mind it.
If there's one thing that AJ Preller has always been good at, there's a lot of time you have no idea who's in the bullpen. But the Padres bullpen ERA is always one of the best in baseball. So if there is one thing that you can say that AJ Preller has consistently hit on, it's been the bullpen use. It's been the bullpen arms. And I have a feeling, at least from what we've seen with Adcock in his career, like I said, he's probably going to take over that Sean Reynolds role of he may not make the team, but he will be the first guy up if someone needs a little extra rest, if someone gets hurt, on and on.
He's playing the Dominican Winter League right now.
Okay.
And in his last outing, he went 2 innings, faced 7 batters, gave up 1 hit, no earned runs, 5 strikeouts, 68% strike rate, 44% swing and miss. And then he had a 41% chase rate. Fastball sits 97 to 99. His sliders at 87, 88. He's got a cutter at 91, 93. And then he's got one other pitch on there. But it's not, I mean, I don't mind taking a chance on somebody like that.
No, and it's like we've said on the show, you can never have enough arms, you can never have enough bullpen help. And this gives you that. It gives you another arm, it gives you another bullpen help, it gives you another way to manipulate time in the bullpen. If some guys are starting to get a little bit too much, starting to work a little too hard, this is a way to get a guy another day off.
So there's multiple videos now coming out on Ty Adcock as Padre fans are finding some stuff. I mean, SNY tweeted this out in one of his outings on June 15th this year. He had 4 strikeouts in 1 2/3 scoreless innings for Ty Adcock as he faced the Rays. I mean, his stuff looks nasty. So it's a low risk, high reward opportunity to improve the bullpen, and it's probably not going to cost a lot. I don't know what the contract details are. I didn't see it on that particular post. I mean, Fangraphs is usually on it immediately when you refresh. I don't think it's a minor league contract, but
I haven't seen anything that would indicate that it is a minor league contract. I haven't seen anything that would indicate.
Well, plus on minor league contracts, the Padres don't put out like the whole,
True.
Hey, welcome to San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
They don't do a welcome to San Antonio thing.
Welcome to Fort Wayne, buddy.
Right. All right. That is the addition. I don't mind it.
No.
It will be trade rumor set a major league contract.
Well, there you go.
He looks pretty good in some of the highlights. I mean, obviously he hasn't pitched a lot in Major League Baseball, and it's going to get an opportunity. Yeah, it's a 1-year deal. They don't need to make a more corresponding move. They add him to the 40-man roster. When we get more updates on that, we will pass it along. I'm sure more details will come out on Gwen and Chris. But when we come back, get you everything you need to know about fantasy football this weekend. We're getting close to playoff clinching time in fantasy football. Eddie Brown will get your lineup set when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego's number one sports station, 97 through the Fan. Here's the other Zach Bryan song we have. She Wants a Cowboy. This hour, 97th to the Fans, brought to you by IHOP. Introducing the IHOP Value Menu, where all your breakfast faves are just $6 each every day. Where else can you get a big, filling, sit-down breakfast for only $6? Go to your happy plates with the $6 IHOP Value Menu. Available every day at IHOP, $7 in some locations. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show. And after a week off, had to battle the stomach flu a little bit like that, Eddie Brown is back. Hopefully, still had a good Thanksgiving. Eddie, what's going on, man? Hope you're feeling better from last week.
I'm doing much better, Braden. Actually able to keep food down, so that's good.
That's a positive.
Yeah, no, and it was still a good Thanksgiving. Spent some time with family and was able to hang out, so can't complain.
Yeah, that was going around. My sister had that. A couple other people I knew had that. It's a tough time right before Thanksgiving. You're supposed to devour some food. But Eddie Brown for the Standing Union Tribune joins us each and every Thursday to talk about fantasy football. Get your lineup set for the big fantasy football weekend. A lot of playoffs are about to start. Some might have already started. This might be the last week for you to get into the playoffs. So these are some big time movers when it comes to fantasy football. And kind of interesting, like the bye week is a little bit off right now, right? I mean, the Patriots being out and Carolina being off. I mean, there's some teams that have some really good fantasy players that have a bye. You're trying to make the playoffs, Eddie. Where are some areas you can find to replace some New England Patriots and Carolina Panthers and every other team that has buys this weekend?
Yeah, that's a tough break of the schedule because it basically in all my leagues this week, I'm either battling for position in the playoffs and trying to get a higher seed, or I have a chance to make it. Like I'm right on the cusp, and I need to win this week. So I feel like most people in fantasy leagues are kind of experiencing the same thing. I think if you're talking about replacing the Patriots, then you're talking about replacing Drake May. So it's really about trying to find a quarterback. Hopefully you have. Otherwise, you're having to go to the waiver wire and look for guys like Tyrod Taylor or Trevor Lawrence. Have good matchups this week. You might, if you're feeling kind of squirrely and kind of crazy, you might even look at Tyler Shuck. He has an exceptional matchup this week against Tampa Bay. They've allowed like the third most fantasy points to quarterbacks this season. And I think the most since like week 10. Their defense has been kind of hemorrhaging points to quarterbacks in fantasy for the last month. So there are some options on the waiver wire, but hopefully you have a good backup if you're having to do without Drake May this week.
What's the latest status of Justin Herbert? He had surgery obviously on his left hand, which is not his throwing hand. I mean, he is another player that is going to be coming off of, he's a little banged up, obviously, and he's going against the Eagles on Monday night. I actually have Drake May and Justin Herbert. So for me, and this might be a very unique case, but, with Drake May being on a bye, Justin Herbert coming off injury, is it better to start Justin Herbert coming off the injury against the Eagles, or is it better to pick up one of those matchups that you just mentioned going into the weekend?
Man, that's a tough one. I think if you told me Herbert's going to make it through the entire game, I would say go with Herbert and he'll get you what you need. He might not, the upside might not be there because I'm sure he's going to be protecting his hand, but when he came back into the game last week, he looked solid. He was able to still make some plays. And so, I think the Eagles are probably going to be without Jalen Carter on Monday. I think their defense, I think their team is starting to kind of fray at the edges a little bit with everything they've been dealing with. So the thing that scares me, obviously, and you're talking, if this matchup is about getting into the playoffs, or if it's about getting a bye or something like that, and you just need points, I would hedge and try to pick up a QB off the waiver wire with a premium matchup, because you don't know with the hand. I mean, he just had surgery, and there's a possibility also that if for some reason he's a game time decision, you're not going to know that till Monday, and I'm pretty sure you're not going to be able to pick up Jalen Hurts. Or unless you pick up Trey Lance, so I mean, that's your fallback plan. If you decide, hey, I'm riding Herbert till the end, be prepared to pick up Lance at the last second.
That's going to be an interesting play. I'll let you know what I do going into the weekend. We're talking with Eddie Brown. He's getting you everything you need to know about this weekend in fantasy football. A lot of people battling for playoff spots, a lot of people battling for seeding, and other leagues that are just, the roto leagues where just one through how many teams you have. You're getting down to the nitty gritty of trying to make a push for the league championship at the end of the year anyway. So very important time and a rough time for the NFL to schedule some buys out there. The Lions had a couple of players go down. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Khalif Raymond are likely out, which puts Isaac Tesla as the wide receiver number 1 for the Detroit Lions. Is he worth more than just a streaming pickup this weekend?
Well, I think we focus on just this week, assuming Amon-Ra doesn't play. And it sounds like he's a game time decision right now. The bigger deal for this week, though, even with Tesla, is outside of St. Brown. It's the fact that Khalif Raymond is out. He's the reason that Tesla played, over 90% of the snaps for the first time in his career on Thanksgiving. He's the direct backup to Raymond. If St. Brown's out, then it's basically the Jamison Williams and Isaac Tesla show and against the Cowboys, which is the best matchup for wide receivers in fantasy football. So you definitely run him out this week. You hope for flex upside, and if he gives you anything more, then you celebrate. Going forward, it all depends on Amon-Ra St. Brown, because obviously when he's healthy, he's a target hog in that offense to the point that even Jamison Williams struggles sometimes to get seen.
Highlighted Devin Singletary's rise in New York with Tyrone Tracy hurt. Singletary now running back number 11 since week 11 for you in the overall scheme. Do you trust them as a must start as a playoff running back?
I think he has flex appeal. I think he has, matchup dependent. There's nobody else in that backfield at this point. He's going to get double digit touches going forward. Jackson Dart is healthy, so that takes pressure off. I think Dart really opens up the run game for the Giants, assuming that they're still going to allow him to actually run too. But I think he has flex appeal going forward. I think he has touchdown equity in that offense because there's not a lot left. And he's still available in probably about 70% of leagues out there. So if you're struggling at running back or if you're dealing with injuries, then he's a good pickup.
Trevor Lawrence is somehow still under 60% roster between ESPN and Yahoo. With him being the quarterback number 6 in your ranking since week 9, is Trevor Lawrence the best late season quarterback upgrade for struggling fantasy owners? Not just the ones, obviously, they're looking for a potential stream, or my situation, like with Drake May being on a bye.
I think, man, Trevor, I've been saying since he got drafted, like, oh man, he's going to be a top 5 guy, and it just hasn't panned out. And I think that's why you see he's under owned in fantasy right now, because he's actually been pretty solid this season, especially over the last couple months. I think the upside's there. The Jaguars look like they're a decent team. I think he's starting to pick up Cohen's offense. He's starting to get some guys healthy. I think Brian Thomas came back last week. Everybody, and I think Brent Strange came back a couple weeks ago. So I think the offense is healthy. I think he's starting to really kind of settle into to Cohen's system. I think there's upside there. And you could do a lot worse at quarterback at this point if you're looking on the waiver wire.
Let's talk about tight ends. Dalton Schultz, Darren Waller, Isaiah Likely, Brenton Strange. All of a sudden, tight ends options are everywhere for fantasy owners. If someone needs a tight end for the fantasy playoffs, who's your number 1 stash?
I mean, Schultz is available in half leagues out there, and he's basically been a tight end 1 for the last 2 months. So if he's available, I'd go get him. Darren Waller, though, and Isaiah Likely, I mean, I think those guys are the upside that they have in the playoffs. I don't think any other tight end tops them. Even guys that are owned, even obviously Trey McBride, Brock Bowers of the world are going to be able to produce against anybody. But Waller has matchups against the Steelers and the Bengals in the first 2 rounds of the playoffs. You can't really beat that, assuming he can stay healthy. And Likely's matchups are just as golden. He has a matchup against the Bengals again next week. He has a matchup against the Steelers this week if you're looking to try to get into the playoffs. And it pretty much gets premium matchups for the rest of the way. Obviously, he has to share time with Mark Andrews there, but matchups against the Bengals, you could, even tight end 2s are getting there against the Bengals this year. So there's a lot of upside there. If you're tight ends to one position, if you need somebody, there's plenty of guys on the waiver wire.
And a follow-up on Isaiah Likely. I mean, you're early. You're in on Isaiah Likely early with the upcoming dream schedule, and he had a big breakout against Cincinnati, as you mentioned. He gets to play him again. What's his realistic ceiling over the next 3 weeks?
Well, I mean, the Ravens offense, the only thing that kind of, scares me a little bit is Lamar. He just hasn't looked like himself in the last month or so. But he likely is one of the most dynamic receivers that they have. I mean, obviously Andrews is a threat around the, in the red zone, but I think he showed against the Bengals that outside of Flowers, he's probably the best field stretcher they have. And that's something that they're going to have to utilize. I mean, the Ravens is basically all hands on deck going forward. They need to win pretty much out, or most of their games going forward to get into the playoffs to try to win the division. So I feel like his upside's pretty immense. I think that they're starting to feature him more. I think Jackson a couple of weeks ago said he's somebody, he's been waiting patiently, but he's going to get a shot. I think we saw that against the Bengals. I think we'll see it again against the Steelers this week and against the Bengals next week. So I think there's upside there, and he's proven time and time again when he's healthy. He's one of the most dynamic tight ends in the league.
We're talking with Eddie Brown, who writes for the San Diego Union-Tribune, covers fantasy football as well as draft coverage of the NFL draft. We're going to talk about that in just a second, Eddie. But let's hit the drops. Aaron Rodgers, Tajay Spears, Joe Mixon, Emmanuel Wilson. Which one of these names will fantasy managers have the hardest time letting go of, and why is it actually the right move to cut bait right now for the playoff start?
It's probably Spears, because he's the guy that we thought would probably get more run at this point. It just seems like Tony Pollard's kind of hanging on in Tennessee. Spears, I think, has more upside out of the two. You would think with the youth movement that's going on with the tight ends that they would feature him more, but they just haven't. So that's kind of difficult. It wouldn't surprise me if I put him in the drop list and he starts to actually get double-digit touches going forward and starts to produce like I know he can. Everybody else on the list, though, I mean, Mixon, it's really surprising that he's still rostered in pretty much a third of all fantasy leagues, and there has been no indication he was going to play at all this year.
Let's get to one last question here before we talk to you again next week. You're starting to put out some mock drafts already, and we got a big weekend in college football with the conference championship games, obviously college football playoff happening as well. You put together a 2026 NFL mock draft already titled "Depressed Quarterback Class Could Favor Oregon's Dante Moore." We were talking about it yesterday with one of the questions of, should the Ravens give Lamar Jackson a contract extension? And my response was, they're in quarterback purgatory, because is he good enough to win you a Super Bowl? But also, who else are you going to get? Doesn't seem like this quarterback class is very good going into next year, but how would you evaluate the quarterbacks at this point after watching the regular season of college football as you prepare your first mock draft?
No, I think coming into the year, I remember back to my way too early 2026 mock back in May, that there was probably about 4 or 5 guys I had my eyes on that could potentially be first round picks. I think going into the bowl season, I'm looking at probably just one in as far as Mendoza being the only lock, I think, at this point. I don't think it's a guarantee that Moore leaves. I don't even think it's a guarantee that Ty Simpson leaves at this point. And so we'll see. If Moore and Simpson enter into the fray, I think you're looking at Mendoza, you're looking at Moore, and you're looking at Simpson being the 3 first-round guys. But guys like Drew Aller, I mean, he obviously got hurt, but obviously Penn State underperformed. Carson Beck has been a mixed bag. Cade Klubnik and Clemson's been a mixed bag. Garrett Nussmeier didn't perform up to what we thought him and LSU was going to be able to do. All those guys are probably, second or third day flyers now in the NFL draft. So I think it's starting to look like it was last year, where we basically ended up with 2 first-round quarterbacks, and then it was grab bag the rest of the way.
Eddie, we appreciate the time as always. We'll, obviously dive into a little bit more of the draft later on in the new year as we get closer to that and continue with some fantasy football talks. But good luck this weekend at fantasy football. Hopefully you make the playoffs in the leagues you're on the fringe for, and look forward to talking to you next week.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Braden. Good luck to you.
Eddie Brown, San Diego Union-Tribune, joining us on the Braden Surprenant Show. All guests on 97.3 The Fan join us on the David P. Shapiro Fan Hotline. David P. Shapiro, criminal defense attorneys, helping good people regain control of their future when charged with the crime since 2010. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com. The quarterback situation of the future is not great. I mean, you listen to all those names right there, and Eddie's got him on his 2026 quarterback class. But I remember some experts saying, like, oh, next year's class could be good. And we had the conversation with Adam Klug, and Adam's like, who? And honestly, true. Like, Drew Aller had a good year last year. He got hurt this year. Penn State didn't play well. Arch Manning has been a massive disappointment for the University of Texas. Carson Beck, as Eddie Brown said, mixed bag. Cade Klubnik, not a great year. Garrett Nussmeier, not a great year. I mean, you're looking at guys like, Indiana's Fernando Mendoza's had a great year, but Dante Moore, Ty Simpson, there's not a lot of options out there for NFL teams that are trying to build for the future. It's a good thing the Giants drafted Jackson Dart, Frank.
Yeah, it's looking more and more like it. It surely is. And that is the risk you run with the plan that I thought was in place, which is just have a couple of guys and in waiting until Arch Manning is ready to go. And turns out he may never be ready to go. So that is the risk of my plan. But I mean, see, you mentioned it yesterday. The era of the dominant quarterback is over.
I think so too. I think the era of the elite quarterback is over. I think with a lot of other, I think it's the way that they train right now too. It'd be interesting to talk with, I got to talk with Doug Brady about this. He's a quarterback coach in town. You met him at the CIF championship game, but I just feel like the elite quarterback play is just, it's not getting better. There's a couple of guys in the NFL that are elite, but other than that, they're mostly old guard guys too, because the new quarterbacks are just not the same. I wonder how much of it has to do with the fact that they do so much work with 7-on-7 with no rush, and how much of that is in effect, and they move around all the time. I don't think anybody's really developing. You can see it with the NFL draft. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow leading into a football weekend. Standing Someone Sports Station, 97 to the Fan.